Well, hello. I think I fixed... Well, I think I fixed my internet, but I also thought that beforehand. So, anyways, bear with me here for a second while we make sure to test things. If you're watching the VOD, thank you. But you might want to skip ahead a little bit. I'm gonna give some time for people to rejoin. It's been like an hour since I tried to go live for the last one. I had to reset. I basically completely reset my internet, my modem router, and then had to do testing of things and stuff. And yeah, so this is now. Yeah, technically it's still earlier than my normal stream time, technically, but bleh, I just spit all over myself. But it is later than I intended because I originally wasn't planning on streaming today because I wanted to have a stroke. No, I wanted to. I'm still going to. I'm gonna go to my parents' house. Need to do some stuffs there. And instead, now this is going to get delayed. Well, I don't know. It depends how long Kinich testing takes. Ow, I just smacked my face with headphones, or my glasses with my headphones as I tried to put them on. Anyways. So, yeah, we got to do Kinich testing. It seems like the internet is functioning now. Yay, what a world. I think I isolated the problem down to, in this instance, I think the router was just dying. And so what I had set up before was the provided, like, modem router combo box from the internet provider, which is required because this is a DSL internet provider. Blech, I know. And then I had that router in the modem in bridge mode, so it just act as a modem so that I could use a separate router because, as you might expect, the router capabilities of the provided one are not very good from the internet provider. So try to use a slightly better router, but I think the router just died or something because like it was just having problems, and those problems are now gone now that I switched completely back and reset to the modem combo, which means slightly worse Wi-Fi situation technically, but it actually works, which is a much better Wi-Fi situation. So anyways, it's Kinich time. We're gonna test some Kinich things. Now, annoyingly, because I had to restart my computer in the troubleshooting process, I lost some stuff I had set up. So here, I gotta do this again too. Copy the window. Paste that. Okay, there we go. Does Kinich feel good to play so far? No. So I will. What I had set up here, what I was going to mention, I'm going to have to spend a minute setting up again to illustrate. So we're gonna do most of our testing with Kinich here today at level with the artifacts. I might test different weapons to be clear. Might switch artifacts around a little bit, but at a baseline, going to be using these artifacts. It's a decent build. It's nothing insane, right? And then with this, and we will be testing in Abyss. And one of the so for anyone that has Kinich or is watching people play Kinich in Abyss, this current cycle has 80% skill damage bonus, and the vast majority of Kinich's damage comes from his skill. So that means for an invested Kinich, this Abyss cycle, Kinich is going to do vastly more damage than you should expect him to do in the future when there is not a blessing that is buffing him substantially. So, you know, but with that asterisk out of the way, the benefit of that is we can technically have a lower invested Kinich that is going to perform the same or still better than a highly invested Kinich. And I actually set up, I had this, where is it? I had this set up to be able to illustrate this. This is the GI damage calculator.web.app website. But I had to restart my computer, and that means I lost my configuration that I had set up. So I'm gonna have to redo all this. But yeah, basically what I had set up here was to show that. Bro, can you be quiet? A how? A how is the best part of Kinich. So Anyways, point is, I'm gonna show here that like my Kinich is currently level 70. We're gonna try to finish his final, or not his final, his next ascension. I'm not gonna do his final ascension unless I can get over the main problem I have with him, which I doubt I will. I forgot I need to go collect these. Okay, we're going to have to spend a second collecting those, do one boss run, and then I can do his next ascension. That's just to get at least the next crit damage and a little bit of base attack increase. I think that is worth doing. It's not that expensive. I already have most of the materials for it. How is indeed the main character. I think I'm going to leave him at level 6 talent, and the burst barely matters. Like, to be clear, it does do some of his damage contribution. You should level up his burst probably to level 6 at least, I would recommend. I'm not going to bother because it's not going to be that meaningful of a difference maker as far as testing his damage output. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. We're gonna spend a second re-inputting into this website the artifacts that I had before, which are the exact same build in here. And the reason I want to do that is so I can illustrate to you what a crowned Kinich would perform like in an Abyss cycle, or in a context not like in a non-Abyss context that doesn't have 80% skill damage bonus, right? To give you like that baseline comparison. And then I'm going to lower the talent levels, right, down to what, and the level of my Kinich down a little bit to illustrate how with that blessing the Kinich will be doing at my investment level the same damage as he would if he was like level 90 and with a crown skill, right? That's how strong the blessing is that it basically takes Kinich from being level 70 to level 90 and taking it from level 6 to level 10 skill. And he technically this will be doing more damage than a crown Kinich will be without this blessing. So the blessing is OP. You can try playing it with relatable F2P teams and builds. F2P doesn't mean anything. As always, I'm sorry to be a nitpicker, but F2P like means nothing. Like what actually matters is how long have you been playing the game. Yes, spending money does accelerate how fast you progress, but if a player who spent $500 but has only been playing for 6 months versus a free-to-play player that has been playing since the game's launch, like that person that spent $500 is way behind progression-wise than the free-to-play player. So, anyways, nitpick, I know, but I will do free-to-play-ish teams. Like this team, for example, is very much accessible free-to-play. If you skipped Emily, you might say that's not free-to-play because she's a 5-star, but free-to-play players can get 5 stars. Like, it's not my fault you skipped Emily and get her on a rerun. Like, I'm going to test her in the teams that I think are compelling. If the constellations are making a difference, like obviously Emily's weapon will make a bit of a difference here. It's probably not going to be a difference that is like resulting in Emily being dysfunctional in this team. So what is the best non-Emily team? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. Probably Bennett, Xiangling, Kinich, someone else, right? Emily is definitely a good teammate with him, but there's also Burgeon teams to be testing. There is also unconventional teams to be testing with him. Like, to give Kinich some credit, I do think I will, on a mechanical level, how his kit functions, I like him more than Alhaitham. Notably, like, you know what I tried with Alhaitham before, and what I dislike about Alhaitham's kit, and how, like, he gives this facade when you read through his burst, is like, he's supposed to give the player some options for like, oh, if you want, you can play him a little bit differently and choose to like have his burst last longer and do more damage. And like it persists off field. So you could use him as like a weird burst support character, right? Except no, you really can't because of how they like made his energy generation work. Yada yada yap. Point is like burst Alhaitham where you try to purposely like do a 3 mirror burst. It just doesn't really function. And is highly not recommended. His kit gives the facade of feeling like it should give you more control and choice than it does. Kinich has some of the same problems, and he's not super flexible, but getting his energy is a lot easier than getting energy on Alhaitham. You do have to go into grapple mode to get some energy, and then get one of these big shots off, but he consistently generates 5 dendro particles per rotation, when you do that, and that doesn't require very much field time. So doing that lets you like you can do a burst DPS, a burst focus, not a burst DPS necessarily. I mean, you could focus into burst damage specifically. It doesn't necessarily mean build emblem though. I'm not sure if it snapshots stats. That's actually an important thing that I'd have to look up or test, and I'm probably not going to bother testing. Because whether or not it snapshots the stats at the point of when you cast his burst is an important differentiator for how you could build him. Because it's possible you could just, if it does snapshot his stats when you swap him off field, and it has the 40% crit rate from this set after activating his one shot, you basically, for a burst DPS playstyle, would do his skill, do his big cannon shot, activate his burst, swap off field. And his burst lasts quite a while, so let me just demonstrate this, right? Get a big shot, and do his burst, and then you could swap off field to someone else, right? And you can see How is doing his laser cannon. Now the targeting on it is certifiably goofy, in case it's not obvious. I don't know if it's random. I'm not sure exactly the targeting it. If I make a video on Kinich, it'll probably be focused on doing something like a burst playstyle. Since, you know, I like to focus on unconventional ways to use characters. But... oh yeah, he's trying to destroy the rock. That's true. You go, How. You do you. So anyway, the point is, I think he has a little bit more potential utility because of that. He is viable in Hyperbloom, right? His raw multipliers are strong enough that, you know, you can follow the Hyperbloom core of doing a Dendro. Like you probably don't want to rely on just his Dendro alone, because his Dendro application isn't amazing. But so like doing him solo Dendro in Hyperbloom is not ideal. But if you do the Hyperbloom core of a Dendro, Hydro, and Electro unit, and then just add him in as the flex slot, because that's like kind of the spice of Hyperbloom, and he's just like your on-field DPS flex slot unit, and he can trigger the likes of Yelan, Xingqiu. Like, he can be a very competent unit for that, right? Because Hyperbloom, in my opinion, is what you make of it with that flex slot, and how... And oftentimes that means put an on-fielder that is a compelling unit that does synergize in some way, and he does, right? He would provide additional Dendro application. He would have less, because he's in it, if you're doing double Dendro Hyperbloom with him, you know, normally like Hyperbloom ideally wants Nahida to have like a really good amount of Dendro application, but an alternative is doing double Dendro, so you could do like Kinich, Dendro Traveler, Xingqiu, Kuki, and it's probably pretty compelling as far as Hyperbloom damage, like whole team damage goes, and then he provides a meaningful amount of team damage. So like he has a decent amount of team versatility. There's probably teams where you can make working like overburn, where I have like Pyro and Dendro, and then I throw in an Electro teammate instead of like, well, I was gonna say instead of Dia, but I think you with Emily you probably want some off-field Pyro. Actually, I don't know. Anyways, there's probably some ways to work in things, but for his personal optimal damage output, you really gotta do Burgeon or Burning. It's because of this passive. This passive gives him a very large chunk of the points he needs, and the more points you generate, the more big skill shots you can get out with his. You know, this is over 1,000%, or sorry, almost 1,000% multiplier at level 6. And then he has a passive that gives him even more damage once per rotation too. So, anyways, he has good damage output. He is not a weak character by any means. Most of his teams, though, are going to want to be, you know, configured in some form around not, like, he's not a hyper carry, right? You want to be doing something else in the team most of the time that's not just his damage, is what I would describe it as. So, yada yada yap yap. He's not a bad character. To get that all out of the way, I really dislike him thus far. We'll see if this changes. I might get used to it a little bit, but I really, really, really dislike the camera. It feels really bad in action. Like, it's not something that's obvious through footage. You can get a small vibe of the problems of this when you're doing, like, so to illustrate, all I have done is the first impressions. I did the trial last night, and then I did story quests and a little bit of other random overworld stuff last night. That's what I've tested so far, and I did a little bit of Abyss stuff. And there's problems with how the camera movement moves around in between going in and out of his grapple state. Not that, but when you're actually grappled onto an enemy. And like that it's really disorienting to me. is what I would say. So yeah, and I've seen a couple people mention it's horrible on mobile as well. Let's see if I can just demonstrate this. What is it a daily? So let's see if we get. Yeah, perfect. We get multiple enemies. Let's not do anything else. But do this. Like the whole like constant movement and you're supposed to like move to like left and right, right? That. So let's wait for this. Like it's oh god, yep. See, do you see that camera swing there? Like as soon as you start going up slopes, like the camera would have like swung behind like a wall here. It makes it like zoom in suddenly. It's just I like do not like. And there's also a problem of like, you know how he like switches around, like the Kinich himself, like the camera locks onto, it doesn't like quite lock on, it's not like the enemy is on the center of the screen, right? But the camera switches to locking on kind of to the enemy, and then Kinich is swinging around the enemy. So Kinich is like swinging around in like this, if you see my mouse pointer, this portion of the screen, right? And you have to pay attention to the meter for when to launch his scale cannon shot, his big damage, for when it's full. And if you aren't paying attention to that, right, it's because it's something as you play him a lot, you can get used to. You would just know, you would get a vibe if you're playing a certain specific team a lot of when to use it, and you wouldn't have to pay attention to it as much. But it's green colored. There's constant green, everything, numbers happening on screen. And he is not in the center of the screen, and he's not positioned in a consistent location ever. So like you don't have a consistent location for where your eyes can look at. So anyways, he has meaningful exploration utility. I will acknowledge that for sure. Like I can't say I want to use him for overworld because I don't like the camera movement. It feels bad to me. Would I not recommend polling for him? I don't know. Like I think you can get a pretty decent vibe of whether or not the camera is bad in the trial. Right? Like play the trial multiple times potentially. Play a story quest. You get to use them a little bit more there. I don't remember, there is a portion where you get to control him for the story quest that's like in the overworld. I don't know if the game like locks you to a particular section in the overworld. It's like up here or something. And maybe that actually lets you like go around and fight anything in the overworld, like Ganyu's story quest. I didn't actually test that. But anyways, point is do a story quest, mess around, fighting different enemies. You might get a vibe of like encountering those situations wherein the camera is just kind of awful. Oh, you can grapple this. Oh, no, you can't. Never mind. I thought that was a grapple too. I just happened to hit the right location. So, anyways, I appreciate that they've done something really inventive as far as a gimmick with this kit, with the movement stuff, but I've never felt like a character was actively extremely disorienting to play before in this game, and he is. And for that reason, that's why I'm going to do his next ascension, because I basically already have the materials for it. And we're going to go do the damage calculator real quick, so I can show how, with the Abyss Blessing, where we'll be testing, he will be doing damage equivalent to a level 90 skill crowned Kinich, with this build, but I'm going to leave him at the investment level I basically have him at right now, to simulate what he would be performing like if this blessing weren't there, right? So, anyways, we're gonna spend a second doing that so I can illustrate that. And unless like unless like they change his camera working, like whatever. If you want specifics on like problems that the camera has, let me go to. So we can go to this dude. Yeah, he gives me a little bit of motion sickness as well. It's not bad. Like I've had worse motion sickness in other games before. I've gotten mostly used to that aspect. But yeah. Okay. Well, this dude's dender resistant, so this is not exactly ideal. But you know. God, the cameraman. So, one of the things that is problematic is watch how the camera. So the camera like suddenly swings out like when he is. Yep, some yapping. I'm not paying attention. Watch when we end it, right? It actually doesn't even have a problem with this thing. I think, you know, it probably doesn't have a problem with this thing because of the camera, because of the size of the boss or something. I don't know. It's not always a problem. But I've noticed issues wherein, so I picked the wrong enemy to demonstrate this, but you'll probably see it throughout this stream in some form or another. Do not. Which is basically that the circumstance that happens is he will grapple onto an enemy, and then after the grapple state is done, like he'll be, say the enemy is right here, right, is the blossom here, and you know he's swinging around, and then like the state ends, the camera is positioned like over here, right, and then he's swinging around over here, and then the camera, when his grapple state is done, will swing from like over here in the air from this perspective to snap like quite quickly to, it's not like a snap, I think a snap would almost be better. But it suddenly transitions to being like, oh, the normal perspective with the camera being focused with the character always in the center, right? And it's disorienting. That's all I can feel. Will it be disorienting to you? I don't know. Do the trial. Play the trial. Play a story quest. See how he feels to you. He is not a bad unit. He just feels not. I don't like him, how he feels to play. And that's unfortunate, because I think he has some cool aspects to his kit, but oh well. Rip your C2 Xylonin, you cut Kinich and Z4 right in an accident. Jean Burst vibes, kind of, yes, but Jean Burst vibes is also like, she doesn't even like allow you to like switch your, or she just like locks your camera for a short bit, and that's just like annoying because it doesn't let you do things when it feels like you should be able to do things. Whereas he doesn't have that problem. He just has the cameras swinging around in disorienting ways, and it's hard. So, yeah. But it's fun swinging around. I mean, it can be to you. It's not enjoyable to me because I get disoriented doing it. like he kind of is all, like his whole thing, if you're gonna enjoy playing him, is his gimmick of swinging around the enemy. And if that's a gimmick that is disorienting to you, like it is to me, you probably shouldn't get him, right? So, oh, of course. Oh no, I did it daily. Nice. Okay. I was confused for a second. Why that much resin didn't complete it? All right. So, you know, if the gimmick is engaging for you and isn't actively disorienting to you, you know, and you like whatever else about his character, he can be a compelling unit. But anyways, we'll test a bunch of different teams here today. I don't necessarily have the ability to test every team. Like, for example, I mean, I can test it mechanically, but I won't be able to test the proper damage output of like Kinich Virgin with Toma, for example, because my Toma's level 20. I could do, I guess, Dia as the Virgin trigger instead of Toma, but Dia is a much worse Virgin trigger as far as if Virgin is a core component of the team's damage, Dia will be noticeably worse. Assuming there is a pretty consistent generation of Virgin cores, but the Virgin's kind of weird, and it depends on how many Virgin cores you're generating. So, anyways, you've been really sick recently, and using them in the trial made me feel worse. Yeah. So anyway, maybe that's part of the vibe. I mean, like, I've been a little bit sick recently too. I've been much better than I was a couple weeks ago, but you know, maybe that is part of why I had a little bit of issues with it. But like, I don't know, it's disorienting. I don't enjoy actually the feel of playing him, and for that reason, you know, at least the Abyss Blessing right now will be able to let me, like, I don't have to invest much more in him, right? I'm just gonna go do his next ascension. So we're gonna go collect a few of these quick. And we'll be able to test how he would perform if I invested much further in him, and you know, maybe I'll get over it. Let's see, but yeah, his overworld utility is, I think, meaningful. So in Natland, by the way, he can do a grapple twice as long as you have Phlogiston. And he can do his little mid-air cancel, which is kind of cool as well. Where's the plants? There they are. But, oh boy, these are going to take a second, aren't they? Outside of Natlan, he can do one grapple. But his ability to use this grapple in midair is pretty meaningful, in my opinion. So we'll go. Yeah, we gotta jump down here. So wait, no, I think we had to jump onto that plateau. But we'll go. I'll go demonstrate here, right? I think he's still mid. Kinich. I mean, he is. I think a fairly balanced unit, but he's very typical of their on-fielder design, right? I probably could have actually just done that gap. I didn't have to do that, but here. So you can hang in midair. I think this lasts for about like 5-ish seconds. And it has a cute little animation with a howl. Yeah, right. So anyways, this ability to like go pretty fast and hang in midair, and you know, you be able to do things like, you know, this is, I think, pretty meaningful. I think he has the most relevant exploration ability of any of the Natlan characters we've seen so far, and that includes the character coming out next patch. So, you know, that is something compelling about him, but I have Cloud Retainer, and like, I don't think it's that much better than Cloud Retainer. Yes, you can use it in midair, and that has some situational valuable utility. There may well be times where I purposely switch to him for exploration just for this utility. Because it is his most unique aspect that is probably unlikely to be in many other characters' kits. Is my guess. But yeah. His retrogrammy vibes are fun. Anyways. Where's the stuffs? Oh, is it down below? It's not actually up here? Oh, okay. Well, guess we're going down. There they are. Can you switch into them after using Cloud Retainer? No. Well, sorry, in Natlan you can. I think only in Natlan you can, right? The auto switch in mechanic only works in Natlan, from what I recall. Yeah, it's a cool thing for exploration again in Natlan. The problem with these characters doing extra things in Natlan is that Natlan has the dinosaurs, right? Like, the places where I feel like the additional thing, like the auto switch-in grapple thing when you switch to him in air in Natlan, I think that would be more valuable outside of Natlan. Like, you need these... it's weird because they have extra exploration abilities in Natlan, but I need them the least in Natlan because Natlan they did pretty good with Natlan and spacing out, you know, putting these animals where you need them, right? So like I never felt like, when I was doing my 100% Natlan video, right? Like I have 100% of the areas. I never felt like when I was exploring around Natlan, I was like, ugh, I really wish I had Kinich, so I could grapple without having to take control of the whatever the Yoshis are called. Right? Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Guess let's go over here. So, I feel like the dragons are better than the characters. Yeah, I think some of them are a little bit better than the character abilities too. So, anyways, yeah, like. So pulling him for his exploration ability specifically in Natlan is a little bit weird, right? But he has the most relevant exploration ability outside of Natlan still. Why didn't he not hang in air there? Did he just continue falling even though I held? I guess it's because I just let go of it too quick. Interesting. It's worth testing quick. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. His hold... Okay, so if you do... That's something to be aware of. That's a minor nuance. If you do want to use his mid-air hold, it looks like he still falls for a second. Or no, that was gliding that time. So maybe... Let me try to do his hold without... Maybe you have to be gliding to do his hold in midair, or he just keeps on falling. Yeah, okay, interesting. You have to be gliding to do his midair hold. Okay, good to know. He doesn't take fall damage? Yeah, that's a cool nuance to him. Wait, does he not take fall damage at all? We'll go test here after we get the plants here. Does he not take fall damage at all, or does he only not take fall damage after you use skill on him? I'm willing to bet it's probably only you don't take fall damage after you use skill on him. Leave me alone. But yeah, he does feel good with his exploration ability. It's where he has felt the most fun to me, is just doing this in Overworld. But then you come into enemies and you're just like, oh, and oh, camera weirdness. Oh god, the camera. I really dislike it. So, you know, like, he is a character I might use for Overworld, but I won't actually use him in combat. Like, he'll just be in the flex slot for Overworld utility if I feel like I want him, but I won't actually use him for combat. That's my current vibe. All right, let's see if he takes 0 fall damage at all. I was correct. Only after skill. Yeah. So either way, but not taking fall damage after skill is good. It's a cool little, again, niche exploration thing. Did they really have to bring back Chevy only after I started saving Mabuika? I mean, I really hope Mihoyo doesn't lock Chevreuse to Raiden's banner, because she's very relevant on with non-Raiden characters, especially with C6. And like, her C6 is valuable enough that they would be really nice that they reran her more, you know. So, like, if they want to throw a bone to the community, they should rerun Chevreuse again with Mabuika's banner, right? Because, like, it's going to be about 3 months, I think, ish, until Mabuika releases. Is that right? No, more than 3 months, because 5.1, 5.2, and then 3 weeks. So yeah, it's more than 3 months until Mabuika releases. About 3 months. Like, 3 months is a perfectly fine gap for, you know, a relevant 4-star to get a rerun. I don't think anyone would complain about Chevreuse rerunning again on Mabuika's banner, right? And it is very likely that Mabuika will have meaningful synergy with Chevreuse. So, you know, we'll see. Where's your MRE bag? My MRE, you mean the food bag? I don't care about the food bag. Okay, I only need 2 more. Good. I did notice a weird problem when using him in, like, actually using his combat in Overworld, wherein, like he doesn't have that much of a problem staying in Bennett's circle. I would say it is circle impact problems, particularly with enemy movement. Enemy movement is part of the formula of why, like, the camera feels with him, is because as enemies move around, the camera swings in, like, man, the camera, like, swinging like that, even as I rotate around near this object, so the camera has to, like, swing in, and then suddenly, like, oh, I don't like it. It looks so much better than it actually plays like to me. That's kind of all it is. We don't need any more of these. So can I just cancel? There we go. All right. And I need to go craft 7 more of the blue teats. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong waypoint. Can each do plunge, or is he light child? He can do plunge. His normal attack animations are kind of cool. So he grabs a howl and does a little, like, mid-air attack here. His charge attack is also not the spin to win charge attack. I'm glad they're not just, like, doing, you know, spin to win charge attack. Well, Diaz is a little bit more unique than the normal spin to win. Like, they've been doing a good job for this lately in general, detaching characters from the very generic charge attacks. Same thing with, like, how Emily doesn't have the generic polearm spinny charge attack, right? Anyways, this is an interesting charge attack. There might be some fun things to do with the normal attack focus Kinich. And yeah, you can do plunge Kinich with an infusion from someone else, to be clear, or you can do physical, I guess, if you want. But he has no way of giving himself a Dendro infusion or anything, and there's no external Dendro infuser, so you would be building him for, like, pyro damage with Bennett or something, right? But I don't know, there's fun things you could do, like the fact that his burst can still apply some Dendro off-field, right? You could use his burst and then do plunge DPSing with Cloud Retainer, Farina, Emily, wait, no, that'd be 5 characters. I was gonna say Cloud Retainer, C6 Bennett, Emily, Farina. But that would be too many characters. Oh, shoot that, well, okay, I don't know. But there might be something you could do with him. That is the wrong direction. So, you know, the charge attack is the generic tall character charge attack, is it? Oh, okay, my bad. Either way, the point still stands. They've been doing better lately with not doing the generic charge attacks. And I like that. Oh, there's the... Okay. There's the mid-air thing. I also saw an instance of, yesterday when I was testing in Abyss. I, like, jumped to the gap in Abyss, and he, like, landed on the, like, his grapple, landed on the very, like, lip of a cliff edge, and then he just, like, slid to the side, like, a good, like, 5 to 10 seconds. like at a big distance. Like, it was, like, landed on the ledge of the cliff, and then slid automatically, like, this far over. I'll see if I can re-trigger that again. There's some goofiness, but it's goofiness that I'm fine with it when it happens. I'm not gonna like be like, how low quality garbage. Like, it's just funny when it happens. That's not actually a problem. I do think things like how disorienting his camera is a problem, but I also don't know. I don't know like the ways of making that better that would be, like solve that problem for me. And I'd rather he existed all with his interesting movement gimmick and, you know, which obviously requires doing some different things with the camera. And again, I might just get used to it, so it's fine. Where's the teeth? Yeah, I need these 7. Part of the reason, by the way, I don't want to super invest in him right now. Unless I am like, okay, you know what, I'm really starting to enjoy this character a lot. That he's worth investing more in is he uses the same talent materials as Xylonin does, so yep. Anyways, this is where his talents are staying. Actually, you know, I'll level his burst to level 4. That's cheap enough, and I'm fine with doing that. There you go. So we're going to do his ascension here. Kablam. And that's just for a little bit of base attack and the crit damage. And there we go. Alright. Do the single pull for my dreams to come true. Turn off motion blur. Motion blur is off. That does look pretty off to me. I hate motion blur. Motion blur's off. So, but yeah, I don't know. If people are having problems, like, it's not... I'm not actively getting any meaningful motion sickness anymore. I did initially, but it was like very slight. Now that's mostly gone. It's just constantly disorienting. Not motion sickness. I don't feel like I'm gonna vomit, but it's disorienting. What does motion blur even look like? It's motion blur. Everything, like, when things are in motion, it like blurs everything. It's a feature that is in like freaking every game. Meant to simulate, like, you know, how if you move your eye really fast, right? You turn your head really fast. You can't, you know, see. You know, I just like disoriented myself in real life now by swinging my head around. I don't even know why I bothered doing that when you can't see my head. But, you know, when you're swinging your head around in real life, right? You can't focus on anything. So that's what it's meant to like simulate. I hate it in video games. I really hate it in video games. Some people are fine with it. I despise it. Ultimately, I don't care if it's a thing in video games as long as I have the ability to turn it off. And sometimes developers like... I do prefer Bloom on in Genshin. How much like Bloom is... Some people hate Bloom too, but how much Bloom matters always depends on the individual game to me. In Genshin, I think it looks substantially uglier with Bloom off. I do not understand why people would want Bloom off in Genshin, but anyways. Yeah, motion blur makes me motion sick. Like, I was getting motion sickness by having motion blur on. I don't know what about it is, like, but not motion blur in general. It depends on, like, how much motion blur there's. On extreme level motion blur, like I had there before, that does... motion blur on low, right? I'm usually like, it's not the end of the world in games. Right, like that, I still don't like it, but it's like, when most of your movements are like, you know, not this, most of your movements are this, right? And there still is motion blur, But I can see why people would prefer this visually. It can kind of feel more smooth in some ways. Not having motion blur on can exacerbate like screen tearing issues sometimes, depending on like what frame rate your game is running at, yada yada, yap yap. Point is, there's reasons people can like enjoy motion blur. I generally prefer having it off. Anyways, Chiori is the best. Oh, you know what? That should have been, you know, I kind of forgot about Chiori. In the moment, you know what I should have done in the wishing video? I like, in the moment, I didn't have, like, such a negative reaction to Kinich in the trial, right? That I was, like, I was fine getting Kinich, right? Or getting a guarantee. Hence why, for the fun of the video, and because I can afford it, I decided to do that. But in hindsight, you know what? I should have just said, you know what? I'm going to stop in favor of using this 10 pull on Chiori. Because, like, Chiori would have been more fun, quite frankly, for me right now. Because I could have done stuff like testing out the Chiori Kachina core is something I think has some fun potential. But, anyways, so we're going to do quick. Sorry to, like, this is going to make me lose. Holy crap, I have 400 viewers. Hello, everyone. But I'm going to do this quick because we're going to go to the Abyss. And I mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again because I have new viewers that probably didn't hear me talk about this before. There's an 80% skill damage bonus in Abyss right now. So basically what this is going to do, and I'm going to show this in the damage calculator to show like proof of this. But my Kinich is only level 70 out of 80 with level 6 skill talent, which is where most of his damage comes from. So, you know, doing his final ascension would obviously be worthwhile to get like that a little bit more base attack. Going from level 80 to 90, probably not, but going to at least do his final ascension, almost assuredly worthwhile if you like this character, of course. Get that final crit damage and base stat increase. Going from 80 to 90 might be worthwhile if you use him a lot, depending on your priorities for other characters level up, yada yada. But I'm going to show how this investment of a Kinich build with the blessing in Abyss right now will get actually more damage than a Kinich would, which didn't have an 80% skill damage bonus in the Abyss right now, right? Like if I had a level 90 crowned skill on Kinich, he'd be doing less damage without this blessing than he is at this investment level with this blessing. So that's what I want to show quick, but it's going to take me a second. I'm going to have to... I had these done before I started the stream, but I'm going to have to go and do this again. So I'm going to go look through the artifacts here and type in this stuff because this is how I show this. So I feel this is important to show, so if I lose viewers for it, oh well. We'll get into testing. If you don't care about it, you know, watch the VOD or something. You can see my testing in Abyss. Just skip forward in the VOD, but if you're watching live, you'll have to bear with me. We obviously don't need to put in the EM or HP stats. Let's make sure these are all level 20. Dendro bonus, crit damage, attack percent. Okay. This is, by the way, the website is gidamagecalculator.web.app. Okay, and then this one, 10%. Do 8.7. 8.7. And 9.7 crit rate. And 7% crit damage. And timepiece is 13.6. 7.8. Dendro Goblet. I stole Emily's Goblet. Emily will almost assuredly be getting it back. That's actually another aspect. If I actually end up playing Kinich with any regularity, he will almost assuredly be switched to this Dendro Goblet, which I put on Emily now. So, you know, this has one less crit damage roll, one less attack percent roll. So, you know, technically, my artifacts are also a bit better than I would actually end up being using on Kinich too. But, my circlet is also, if I would play Kinich in the long term, would ideally be improved. My circlet is very not great. I'm not even going to bother inputting any of the stats from it because it doesn't matter. So there we go. There's the artifacts. And then what we have to do here is configure the whole team and the buffs and stuff around it. Obviously, the exact numbers that the damage calculator is going to give is going to change based on what exact team I am using. Duh. But I'm just going to input an example team with Bennett, Emily, and Dia. why am I having such an issue? There we go, Bennett. So Bennett is going to be on Noblesse. Dia we will put on Tenacity, so 20% attack buff there, 20% attack buff here. Emily will be on Deepwood. We have to go to the debuffs page. What are the... Okay, yep, I already configured the talent levels to level 10 skill. And then debuffs, party. No, we don't have Constellation 2 Emily. Deepwood Memories, that's Dendro Res Shred, that increases your Dendro damage. Oh yeah, don't forget. We'll set a level 95 target. Default resistance for most enemies is 10 resistance to most elements. Obviously, certain enemies will have more Dendro resistance that changes things. I'm setting it to level 95 though. You do fight up to like level 100 enemies in Abyss, higher level even in Overworld, and that changes like the defense multiplier calculation in the game. We're not doing spread damage. Sure, we will enable this. This only takes effect on his first scale spiker cannon shot, but has additional multiplier scaling. Of course, we do a Bennett with Aquila. He has 865 base attack. We have a level 13 Bennett. Constellation 6 doesn't matter here. We will say yes, Wolf's Greystone passive is up, although of course the Wolf's Greystone passive is only going to be up at most like 40% of the time. Passivity and Konix is up. Crit rate is up. Tenacity, Noblesse, and then we will input a custom field for damage percent, and this is to simulate. I'm not gonna do anything right now. So right now it is 0% extra Dendro damage bonus. So you can see this is this is the important number to look at here. Don't compare the burst because the blessing in the Abyss is only going to benefit skill damage, right? But we're looking at specifically the scale spiker cannon shot is the thing to look at here. So C0 Kinich, this is a damage calculation with the exact team I have, right? And all the buffs up, right? Would get about 197,656 damage on his skill. In this context, with Wolf's Greystone, again, I could potentially, get higher damage numbers by like, I don't know, R5 of the craftable weapon, yada yada, whatever. This is just what I'm using right now. The point is not to like find the perfect team, perfect build that gets the biggest damage number. The point is to compare the Abyss Blessing to a higher, with and without the Abyss Blessing, with a higher invested Kinich. So anyways, this is a level 90 Kinich, C0, crown skill, with the exact build I have would be about just under 200k on a crit on his Scale Spiker Cannon. And if we add in the Abyss Blessing, right, he would go to about 300,000 damage, right? like this Abyss Blessing for a fully ascended Kinich is about a 30%, well, it shouldn't really matter that much, but it's about a 30% DPS increase for him, right? Technically a little bit less because it doesn't actually benefit, it's only his skill, it doesn't benefit his burst, whatever. It's a very strong blessing, right? But anyways, the point is 200k though, if this Abyss Blessing did not exist, is what we would get. But my Kinich is of course level 70 out of 80, so he loses some base attack, right? So we go to attribute screen, he has 4,500 base attack right now. At level 70, he would have 4,700 at level 90, so loses about 200 attack, loses a crit damage roll, going from 70 and 80, but it's not crazy. But you can see that does drop him from without the Abyss Blessing, drops him, assuming his skill is crowned still. Technically his skill is crowned here in the calculator, and it's not possible to crown your skill at level 70. But if it was, you can see this is the difference. But we're going to put him down to a level 6 skill, right? Because this is what my Kinich is actually at. So right now, without the Abyss Blessing, my Kinich would be getting 142,000 damage versus level 90 with a crown skill would be getting about 200k. So that's quite significant, right? That's like a 30% damage increase from crowning. Most of that damage is from crowning. You can see if we did 80 out of 90, so just final ascension, but not leveling to 90 and crowning, you can see 189,000, right? You get a relatively small increase from going from 80 from final ascension to all the way to 90, right? 8,000 extra damage is not that crazy. That he's a character that's not very worth leveling to 90 for that reason, but if you play him a lot, maybe it is, right? Anyways, put him back to level 70 out of 80, right? This is where my Kinich is at, level 6 skill talent. level 70 out of 80, 142,000. But let's go and add the Abyss Blessing in, 212,000. So my Kinich at this, my point with this is my Kinich at this investment level will be doing equivalent damage to a crowned Kinich at level 90 without this Abyss Blessing, right? So my point is this build is actually kind of perfect right now for the purpose of testing what Kinich will perform like without an overpowered blessing, right? So that's all I wanted to show that for. Hopefully that all makes sense. Let's go in here real quick. To spend, well, actually, yeah, no, wait, well, never mind. We'll wait a second. We'll go test things first, and then we'll do farming. The stream might not be very much longer than hopefully an hour and a half more, because I do need to go somewhere today. Time is ticking for me a little bit, but website name, that was gidamagecalculator.web.at, GIDMG calculator specifically, not DAMAGE. But if you look up Genshin damage calculator, you should probably be able to find it on Google. What is the website? I just said that. Assist. I just said that. Here, let me link it in chat. I guess. Where'd my page go? There it is. Bam. There you go. If you want the link. Abandoned challenge. Okay. So, you know, at first I want to show on the first. Obviously, we're not going to do Kinich in the first chamber most of the time. Well, actually, no. Kinich in the first chamber can work depending on what team we're doing. So, you know, Kinich can work on either side, is my point. And we'll have, I think, disadvantages or advantages for one side or the other, depending on the given team we're using. But obviously, he's not as ideal against this or this. So we're going to use most of the time, I think, chamber 3. But if you're doing a Burgeon team, you know, it's less bad potentially, because you have like Farina's damage most likely in a Burgeon team. So, you know, what I want to show though, quick, just once at least, is the Kinich, this team, not like trying to clear this team in an ideal amount of time, but the gunner moves around. This is like when I was testing this yesterday, like it again cemented my feeling. This was after I acquired Kinich, of course, right? It cemented my feeling of not liking all the camera functions on him. So, anyways, who should you pull for? Kinich or Raiden? Xilanen? Sorry. If you're genuinely asking for like what's the most like useful character that will power up your account, probably Xilanen. Assuming, because I'm going to guess most players, if they are pulling for one of these characters, will probably not be pulling for Xilanen, unless get very lucky. So, you know, if you want the character that gives you the most obvious improvement for your account, for most players, it's probably going to be Xilanen at the start of next patch. You know, keep that in mind. Raiden is an underwhelming carry with interesting off-field relevance, because she has situationally some of the best off-field electro in the game, not like for application, but for triggering things a lot, like Hyperbloom. Even though what makes Hyperbloom strong is not just Hyperbloom, but and there's weird things you can do like Hybrid Raiden. I adore Hybrid Raiden. I think Hybrid Raiden on her weird hybrid build is one of my favorite units in the game to play. Doesn't mean she's necessarily worth pulling for, especially because of how hard it is to get her to have a build like I use with her, right? Kinich is an easier unit to use as a carry DPS, but you know, might have camera problems, and his teams are relatively restrictive too. So like, yeah, Kuki is still obviously pretty good still for Hyperbloom as well. So like, Raiden's in a weird spot where she's a relatively underwhelming carry at C0, and her Hyperbloom utility, you know, the Kuki exists. She's better in some ways than Kuki, worse in some ways than Kuki. Better for damage output, worse for not having healing. So, you know, and she also has better range, which is potentially quite meaningful depending on the team. Yada yada. the point is, it's like there's very little. There's things that Raiden does that's unique and relevant. It's not like she's a bad character, but she also, any of the things she does is things you can kind of do with other characters in the game. And Kinich is just a mostly a dendro carry that wants to do burning or virgin. And if you don't have the ability to do burning or virgin meaningfully, he might not feel that valuable either. So, you know, pull for the character you want, ultimately. You can make pretty much any character you want work in this game, right? Do this, do this, there's this, I guess. Oh, I just miss? What happened there? Go kill this dude. I forgot to need to burst at any point. I probably should have bursted when he was doing his... I didn't Bennett. Okay, well, don't mind me being an idiot. A benefit of doing Wolf's Grace, so if I'm an idiot, it doesn't matter, technically. Alright. Let's run away from this for a second. Yeah, what I want to illustrate here is how this dude likes to jump away from you. And this is not going to be obvious, like, as a problem unless you personally played against him, but, right. You're gonna jump, dude. Jump. 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 Dude, really? Really? My dude? He didn't jump. I wanted to show how, like, the camera moves when he jumps. It's weird. I also really don't like the camera shift when he does a scale spiker cannon. That's part of the problem I have. Bro, you jumped after I... Alright, well, the game is just needing to prove me wrong. Maybe you have to move tiny bit closer. I mean, you do know, like, he grapples like a kind of set distance away if he can. Yeah, here's the... Yeah, see, oh, you're against the wall. Have fun with the camera against the wall. Okay, well, whatever. I'm done trying to explain that. The point is, when enemies move around in weird ways, and a lot of enemies in this game move around in different ways, right? Like the Kairagi. You didn't even see it much with the Kairagi, but they do their zoop attack, right? And if you're grappled onto one of them that does a zoop attack, the camera will it's weird. It's weird. Give him Earthshaker. Okay. Perfect. This will be better for Kinich. I feel a little nauseous. If you feel nauseous watching footage of him, you will feel worse when playing him. Yeah, I'm joking, by the way. I'm not going to I'm not gonna use level 1 Earthshaker. Like, go away with your it's red. Blah. I don't care. You don't even see it in combat. When are you seeing a claymore in combat? Like, the only time you will see the weapon on Kinich is when Mihoyo does their stupid dark pattern BS where, oh, you used an ability. Here we're going to show in Overworld. Oh, you use a skill. We're going to yell at you for not using the drippy weapon. Right? Like, this is the only time you see it. Get over it. It's fine. It also doesn't even look that bad. So, anyways, I don't disagree that the other one looks better, to be clear, but I'm not going to use a level 1 weapon on him, and it's much better for me just to use the existing weapons I have leveled up rather than wasting resources on things that are just, like, decent on him, right? Sorry. Like, if you want, here you go. Like, instead of wasting resources, if you want to see how, this exact team, how much worse or better, and we'll check refinements too, right? Because I don't have to waste billets on it. How is Earthshaker compared to Wolf's Grace down here, right? They're both non-crit weapons, so I don't have to change the build around for it. We'll put him back to level 90, because chances are if you get him, you should probably invest more in him. We'll put level 9 skill, And, you know, we'll remove the blessing because that doesn't actually exist in a neutral standpoint. So, you know, 190,000 at a baseline here with level 9 talents. Let's put Earthshaker at level 90. Make sure we enable the passive. And you can see 168,000, right? It's worse. It's a good free-to-play accessible weapon, and if we put R5, 185,000. It is very close to the performance of Wolf's Gravestone at R5. That means it's a great weapon, right? You can get R5 of this weapon. R1 is free. Well, actually, I don't know if they're still running it, but R1 was free if you did the web event. This is a good weapon, but I don't have a reason to use it, right? And I'm not going to level it just to show it to you, quite frankly, because I can show it to you. Oh, I didn't back out of this, right? I'm not going to level this to show it to you in game because I can show it to you in this. It's the same, right? Like it's good. It's good. Yes, use it on him. But if you have something else existing that is equivalent-ish or better, you may as well use it, right? But I don't know. If I really adored using Kinich, and I had a use for Wolf's Gravestone on someone else, you know, would I consider leveling this up and getting R5 of it for him just because it looks better? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But I can tell you right now, I don't think I like him enough that it's worth wasting resources for. Also, Wolf's Gravestone gives this 40% attack buff to other teammates, notably like in this team, Emily. So not only is it slightly better than R5 Earthshaker at a baseline, it also gives the 40% team attack buff, which will buff Emily's damage a little bit too. So, yep, there you go. I have an R3 Wolf's Gravestone. Well, if you're getting Kinich. Stop coping? You're saying I'm coping? What is this website? It's GI Damage Calculator. How am I coping? It's a good weapon on him. It's not bad. I just literally showed that it's the same damage. Basically the same damage as R5 and technically better, right? So like why bother spending 100 billets and dream solvents and leveling resources when I have something that's equivalent or better? Anyways, what was it doing? Okay, so first team we'll just test the. Actually, wait, is that gonna cause a problem? That might cause a problem. Ooh, that might cause a problem. See, that's weird. That's kind of weird. Like one of Kinich's best teams is definitely, you know, doing Emily with him. But I don't think it's gonna be super easy to keep up. I don't know. We'll test out. We'll see how it is. It'll be interesting. To see how Kinich, Emily, Dia. So I'm testing this team first because this is like just a combo I think is pretty good. Easy to play. I do think it's a bit boring. I think pure burning is a little bit boring. But, you know, it's still it's still easy to engage, or it's engaging to play because you have to like pay attention to using Kinich's gimmick and with his scale spiker cannon, yada yada. There's just not like a lot of mechanical nuance as far as the reactions going on that I'd say is super engaging, but that doesn't mean it's a unenjoyable team. Oh, I need to put Dia. I will put Dia on Tenacity, not on her carry build, of course, because that will increase her damage, or increase the team's damage, not her damage. Yeah, sure. That's we'll just leave her on a Pyro Goblet, that's fine. And then we'll do this circle. Bam, 4-piece tenacity, so I'll give a 20% attack buff to the team. So that'll buff you, that'll buff you. Yay, right? Alright. And first side, we will just try to wipe through with an Arlecchino team, I guess. Can a Chevreuse team take care of... I mean, it can. Yeah, it'll be fine. Chevreuse team can take care of everything. It's crazy how universal Chevreuse teams are, I'll be honest. So, anyways, yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, I get to... This is the first time I'm using C6 Chevreuse. I almost forgot. EM... Wait, what was the... EM is not really relevant for either of my teams. So I may as well choose this one, I guess. It's only going to be if we have less than 50% HP, but hey. It's something.
Right now, right here. Emerge. On your field ice. Drop your weapons.
No, I feel like I should have been able to ping pong him, but oh well. I didn't need to do that, but I did it anyways. Well, ow, ow, ow. I forgot to mark them in the first place. That was dumb. I just misplaying all over the place. But watch that team-wide heal on Fischl, by the way. Oh boy. Ah! Oh, okay. The team-wide heal did go on Fischl, but I'm just bad. I'm just bad. Tell me a good team with Tignari, team with Nahida. You don't usually need to play Tignari and Nahida together, but I don't know. What's the team that you do Tignari and Nahida together? I mean, I don't know. Tignari, Yai, Nahida. What do you do in the last slot? I don't know. Fischl. I don't know.
Emerge right here, right now.
I can tell you, I don't really see the okay. Don't really see the damage increase that much right now. But it's not that surprising. I'll notice the damage increase on Chevreuse C6 in teams where... Good, thank you for jumping away. Okay. On teams... Oh, don't jump in that. On teams where... Okay, Electro is much worse at getting through this dude's shield than I expected. Why is Electro not getting through this? What did they do something special with this dude's shield?
I'm always watching. Right now. Emerge.
Like, I guess we're just gonna manually power through it, but oh god.
Right here.
You're not. There we go. Juggle him so he doesn't put it up. Yeah, I kind of lost that opportunity. Those two are the local legends versions. Yeah, but like that's not the problem. The problem is they made the shield different. Yeah, I guess it's just the shield's that beefy, I guess. But that really is annoying because it, like, Fischl's normally pretty dang good at getting through electro shields or electro at pyro shields. Even though it's less efficient than Hydro. That's just kind of lame. Making the shields that beefy even forces you more than normal. But I don't know. The Chevreuse can still deal with it because, particularly if you get consistent overloads going, you can start juggling characters or juggling him, as we saw on my Poem Only account yesterday, but or 2 days ago. Do this.
Locked up.
Should do this.
Mind to command tone.
Alright, this one will be the one. Maybe I should have kept Dion on her carry build just for this dude. Alright, no, we're still getting perfectly fine damage. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. I do think Emily's not doing much here, though, because obviously we can't keep it burning. But there we go. Camera's not that bad against that, but yeah, I don't know. It's still weirdly disorienting. I can really EM again. Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm basically getting no buffs that are relevant in any form. Perfect. Okay. I guess sure we'll choose more tankiness. I mean the EM might be better, but so anyways, that is probably the main. Really?
Is that all?
That is probably the main. Oh my god, why am I getting whacked by Yaikon on Yaikon? Stupid mushrooms. That is probably the main team. I will test with Emily. Yeah, see that team-wide heal in Chevreuse? This is what I'm talking about, wherein like this kind of team is like really likes that team-wide heal. Because things like getting whacked by Yai accidentally is kind of awkward to heal up with only Chevreuse as the healer. When please, there we go. When you only have the on-field healing from Chevreuse, because you'd have to like switch to Yai, and it's like not that much of a problem. Like I've played that team plenty without C6 Chevreuse, but it definitely is going to be more comfortable with C6. So you know, anyways. Alrighty, do this.
Let's light it up. Teamwork is strength. Fresh and
Ouch.
I got him cornered.
Oh god, yeah, the cameraman around, like, they're just like that. like, as it swings around enemies, it's so, like, oh, it's weird. It's weird. It's just weird. Okay. I love that we didn't even get energy particles there, and then we lost burning because, yeah, okay. I could have tried to keep the burning, but it's fine.
This'll brighten up the place.
Ouch.
Everybody stand.
Shadow cast. Mind to command.
You can take this, it's fine. It's not obvious, Kinich does get interrupted. But it's not that big of a problem, in my opinion. You're gonna teleport again, aren't you? You're yup, for Q, okay. I should have, oh god, I should have not double lead on, yeah, okay, well. Really, I'm half an energy point away? Okay, I love that, love when that happens. Alright, whatever. I didn't, no, we're just rejoining this, because that was just too scuffed. That was too scuffed, that was my bad.
Right here, right now.
Stop whacking my freaking. I don't know what's with the range in these mushrooms. Feels like they attack them from a farther range now. Yeah, this is where I wasn't near that mushroom and he somehow whacked Visual.
Emerge right here.
Midnight Venta.
You asked for it.
Anyone tried him in Nilu Bloom? I mean, it'd be better than Kava in Nilu Bloom. So there's that. But also it's single target. Like, yeah. He doesn't have a particularly compelling reason to. You don't have a particularly compelling reason to pull for him just for Nilu. Is what I will say. Can I kill you without having to do Kinich? Okay, let's try bursting. Actually, let's see if he snapshots. Okay, can you go to your next phase? I don't wanna. Thank you. Yeah. Alright. You're gonna teleport probably. Yep, okay. Now. Yeah, nice. Okay, I don't think he can be interrupted when he's up in the air, so that's some interesting nuance to his kit, I would say. In that, boy, that was weird. There we go, we're fine. That's some interesting nuance to his kit though, where you can try to utilize his jump up in the air to tank a hit and still get some damage out. Like you're not gonna tank the hit, you might die, I should say, but you can use it as a not being interrupted animation timing framing thing. So Bandit's Q buff lasts a second after you leave it. Yep, yeah. So like that's why like it's fine to like leave his buff for a little bit, but then you still want to like try to get back into it. Have we tried the craftable? I'm not going to. I showed a little bit ago on a damage calculator. I have the craftable at R1. I'm not going to R5 it. I'm not going to spend the resources leveling it up when a damage calculator shows perfectly fine. My Wolf's Gravestone performs a little bit better than an R5 of the craftable would. Not much better, a little tiny bit better. So, anyways. We will try some Electro with him in some form. I don't know exactly. Wow, these buffs are so bad in my Abyss. Jesus. I have no buffs that are relevant. I mean, we have the one thing, but again, the investment level of my Kinich basically is with this. My investment level of my Kinich with the blessing going on, basically to a crowned Kinich. I try to avoid buffs. Yeah, it's fine since like factoring in my factoring in my lower investment Kinich and. Can I not jank up this dude? And the Abyss Blessing, you know, it means this is a very, very neutral starting point for Kinich's performance. With the investment level is building the Blessing going on, so that's good. It's good. This is a meaningful. This is a balanced test for seeing how he would perform in the future without insane buffs, right? Yeah, should probably have done that. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it to Bennett ult and oh god, yep, there's some weird camera things. Yep. What happens here? Oh, that's really weird. Okay. His ability to switch between targets with his grapple and like deal damage from range is compelling, by the way. It is one thing that makes his like ability to deal damage feel quite consistent, I would say. Like it is definitely a good thing about him that I am feeling. Right. I'm gonna try to switch back here to go back into Bennett's buff. Bam. Right. Yeah. He performs pretty well. Like, you know, I'm getting used to the camera weirdness. Like, he is feeling better to me. I don't know if he's someone I'm going to want to play though. But his, I know you use skill then ult, but special waffle doesn't really matter that much. Doesn't really matter that much. Like I will redo when I feel like I do something that's really bad, but does it really matter? If I don't ult during his skill, it's not the end of the world. Especially because I don't have a build that's... I don't think I have a... Actually, I guess with this team I might have been able to ult consistently. But... yes, I know it extends the skill. Is it going to result in me clearing differently? Is it the difference maker between me being able to clear or not? Obviously not there. The only chamber that was relatively close was chamber 1. Like, will it matter? Yes, sometimes. Yes, I'm aware. It's fairly minor, and oftentimes, like, depending on how fast your point generation is, depending on when you actually end up using a scale spiker cannon, the extra 2 seconds from it will not matter at all. The extra 1.7 seconds. The only time that this will actually really meaningfully matter to use during his skill is if you can get an extra scale spiker cannon shot out of it, right? And if you don't get an extra scale spiker cannon shot out of it, it's very minor, right? So like, yes, you should, but it's probably also not the end of the world to not do it. It's not the end of the world to not have his burst up, right? You don't need to build extra ER. Like the fact that you don't build extra ER for this ability, to extend his skill a little bit, should tell you that it's not relevant enough to matter most of the time, right? So anyways, but yes, when you have his ult up, you should use it during his skill. Will it actually matter is an it depends situation, right? It depends on if you get an extra scale spike or cannon shot or not out of it. It's just going to depend on you, and it's going to depend on the situation, yada yada. So, anyways, yeah, I know it's fine though. that's all I'm saying. It's not that big of a difference maker. If it comes down to like me using a team with him that feels like I need to do that to optimize him, I will try to focus on doing that. Right? That's all. Kinich feels like he shines in single target. Oh yeah, his damage is completely single target. Well, not completely. He has, if enemies are grouped together closer enough. Actually, that's interesting. Is there something we can test with? I guess we can test in the first chamber here quick. Let's test his AoE because his scale spiker cannon does have a little bit of AoE. So what if we do something like okay, this is gonna be, but like so Kazuha can do off-field pyro, right? And there is potential significant utility from like Kazuha Emily, especially. So here we'll test another Emily variation quick. Like theoretically, you should be able to get away with doing this, right? Because Bennett's here for a healer. You don't need Dia. Dia feels nice, I would say. Kazuha is not going to be buffing Kinich at all, of course, but his ability to group enemies and get significant extra damage out of Emily and the situational utility of getting extra damage potentially out of Kinich here may be relevant, right? Oh yeah, and yes, his burst has some weird line-based AoE too, but I don't know. Like I might do a burst focused video on Kinich and see how that works out, but I'm not gonna recommend people worry about the AoE utility of that much. All right. Alright, well, okay, you saw Emily absolutely wreck things there. Okay, I'm gonna restart and not use Emily because Emily, as you saw the strength of the combo there, at least, right? We're in. Let's not use any things there. Alright, and do this. They weren't even grouped together properly. This dude wasn't grouped up, but you know. Yeah, Emily alt in Bennett buff when enemies get grouped together can absolutely wreck things. This might not be the ideal situation for it. Let's not use Emily alt here. Okay, just spread them out a little bit, but okay, they're dying from Emily before they're dying from Emily before I can test the AoE. Alright, I just want to test the AoE. Can we, let's just do Bennett and then Kinich. Bennett into Kazuha. I didn't mean to do that. Emily too strong. She's preventing me from testing.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, let's just wait. No, let's do Bennett EQ and then Bennett doot and then doot. There we go. There we go. See, I did damage to all three of them at the same time, right? So I don't know how relevant that is. Like, I think it's relatively rare. I think it's more relevant for Emily than it is for Kinich, realistically. But yeah, he's pretty single target. There is ways to get some additional AoE out of him when enemies are close together like that. And the more notably than like using someone like Kazuha, I think, is trying to abuse your ability to position yourself to get to get enemies to move in particular spots in order to group themselves, right? And then you can get AoE damage out of him potentially. Like, you know, say getting these two dudes to be next to each other so you deal the same damage to them at the same time. Nahida can work instead of Emily. Nahida will give very little additional value in, like, if you're doing Kinich, Dia, Bennett, like this, the alternative is basically Xiangling, quite frankly. I guess I should show Xiangling quick. I don't really feel like testing much with Xiangling with him. The weirdness with Xiangling, right? So like we can put in Nahida to be clear, but like Nahida EM buff doesn't really do anything, right? And then Nahida's own personal damage when you're not using Electro in a team is not that relevant. So, anyways, we'll put in, what the frick is Xiangling? How am I blind? There she is. Alright, we'll put in Xiangling. And then I don't know, we can throw in Dia, I guess, as a comparison, right? The same team, just swapping Emily for Xiangling. The notable thing is probably that need to Xiangling in Bennett's ult, which spends some uptime. So you see what's happening there, which is annoying. Like, Kinich wants you to like rotate in alternating directions, and I think you're going to want to alternate in rotating directions a lot, right? Really? Really? Okay, well, actually, I should have. Here, can I switch? There we go. That's annoying. It's annoying to switch off of them if you're not on the ground. Yeah, we'll refill Benedict. The notable thing is, alright, do this. Do this. Xiangling's rotation, right? Depending on what way you are rotating, right? Like, you need to, like, she's not hitting there, right? So she's weird with Kinich, right? Oops. It is kind of all it is. Yeah, you gotta spin the right way. And like you want to, he has his gimmick of like landing in his triangle, which doesn't necessarily matter that much, to be clear. The little like slice of the pie, when you're circling around, you can get some extra points from going into that. That is his thing that makes you, he's intended to switch directions. Switching directions is not ideal for Xiangling, but also you're gonna want to switch directions because of enemies moving around. You're going to switch directions kind of automatically to some extent because of enemies moving around. Xiangling with him is kind of a, right. It's kind of my vibe, but unworkable, not necessarily, right? So, just replace Kinich so Xiangling can be stronger. Yeah, exactly. Oh no. See, I don't think I'm gonna do more with Xiangling, but yeah, if we're thinking other options for doing, you know, teammates that could work with this combo, I guess. I don't know. I do think Dia is a bit less relevant without Emily, though. Like, realistically, I think we're just, from here, you just transition to doing maybe Burgeon things. But is it worth testing some Electro with him? I don't know. Let's do that. Let's test. Forget. We'll start with Fischl first. We're doing the first chamber not because it makes sense. I just don't think I need to test this all the way through. We will test Burgeon, yes, but I don't have the ideal way to do Burgeon teams, but it's fine. Yeah. So. We're gonna see what happens here with Fischl. It's gonna be a little weird. We're going to start with his ult. And the reason for that is I wanna get quick and going. And then we'll do this. I should have done Dia first, so I acknowledge that. That's fine. Okay, Fischl's uptime relative to how long he wants to stay on field is a little bit weird. That's my vibe there. We'll try it again because I can try to do Fischl maybe after Bennett. There's no reason to fight these dudes. Oh yeah, I have no Deepwood on the team right now. Dia should be on Deepwood. That's true. I forgot about that. Oh, that's such an annoying consideration whenever you play a dangerous EPS, man. Oh, it's not like he won't perform without Deepwood on the team at all. As you can see, he still like is mostly fine. But yeah, having to factor in Deepwood every time is so annoying. It's so annoying. I'm not gonna switch Dia to Deepwood, but keep in mind that he would be performing. His personal damage would be basically the same as the Emily team is. The only difference between this and the Emily team is that Fischl off-field damage versus Emily off-field damage. Emily's off-field damage is better than Fischl. Fischl has the weird nuance of, you know, you're doing Dendro and Electro together. And like he doesn't do that much spreads, but he can get some extra spread damage, and Fischl gets her aggravate damage. What do you think Yao Yao does with him, Mind Palace? Yao Yao doesn't do anything here, other than additional healing, I guess. Like Yao Yao with Farina might be worthwhile. But anyways, so let's try this again. Do burst. Do this. Do this. Now I do this. Alright. Let's see if they... Yeah, that actually felt pretty dang good. Yeah. No, you can unironically, I think, bring an Electro to the team is what this shows. Is it weird? Yeah, a little bit for sure. I also don't know how problematic it is. Like we don't have his ult going right now. Like how did we get spread going? Yeah, we did. We got quicken going, right? Oh, I didn't crit. That's sad. I don't know. It's pretty clear to me that like the damage is perfectly fine there, right? Alright, obviously we're not gonna bother fighting that dude. I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like Fischl works, and it doesn't really that crazily interfere with things. I don't think. Although in single target it might interfere, I guess, because so you might maybe Fischl's Electro application could be bad for keeping up burning. In this context, because you want to have some amount of burn and burning happening constantly enough to keep getting points on him. But yeah, Fischl's energy could be useful. Yeah. But anyways, maybe we'll test more with that a little bit. It was interesting enough that I think it might be worth doing a full run through with Fischl. Have you tried giving him a rocket launcher? Not yet, unfortunately. Maybe Kazuha is last slot exclusively for grouping. I did test that briefly with like showing that with Emily. There is some potential value to that. Yes. Would I prioritize it? Not necessarily. It depends, I think, on the situation. It is a consideration. Yeah. Any other burning variations specifically to test? Non Emily burning variations. I don't think so. I think it's basically like burning with Electro or burning, just pure burning, right? Is all it is. It's overburn or not. So yeah, I think an Electro unit is the most compelling unit to put in the last slot. I wonder if there's some potential value to doing some goofy shenanigans here. All right, you know what? Let's test this quick. Yeah, we'll try Burgeon in a second. Burn melt with Rosaria. Yes, we're not gonna be able to properly test that because I don't have Rosaria built. I do want to build Rosaria, so I might test it more actually. Like my want to build Rosaria is part of the reason I don't want to build Kinich very much more.
Let's get down to business.
But anyways, let's do that. There's some shenanigan potential here, I think. All right, so what we're gonna do? Do one. 2. Well, I don't think it actually makes sense to do, but but
My lucky day. Shadow cast. Mind to command.
That's just the logical extreme of this, doing only one and then riding. You don't have Dendro on you. Okay. Yeah, see, that's the weirdness with a house targeting. Ow. Interesting. I don't know. I don't think it necessarily makes sense, but I might muck about with more shenanigans like that on my own on my lonesome. So, anyways, yeah, I know that chamber. I'm not bothering testing a full team or a full clear in this chamber for a reason with Kinich. I was just testing out baseline functioning of things. Kinich buys you Farina India. Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, I guess let's move on to testing some Burgeon things. So Dia, to be clear, is not the ideal Burgeon trigger. I would recommend Toma most likely for these teams. But we'll see. Like, it's actually possible it doesn't matter that much. For like as far as it depends on when the Burgeon cores generate relative to when Dia's scale procs, right? Because the situation of the Burgeon is goofy, and like what how good Burgeon can be is definitely dependent on how meaningful your damage is that isn't just Burgeon. Burgeon, in my mind, is always a way to get some additional team damage out, and is not usually something ideal to spec the most of the team's damage around. And when you're doing something like Farina Kinich, like a very large portion of the damage is going to be from Farina and Kinich, not the Burgeon damage. So does it actually matter? So my point with that is, like, does it actually matter that much that, you know, you're using Dia for Burgeon triggering, even if she's worse for triggering the Burgeons consistently than Toma? I don't know, right? But I just want to mention that Toma should theoretically be better in this context. That's all. And I don't have him level 90, so like there's not really any point to testing him in game. So AoE, maybe not. Dia does coordinated attacks though. It's not really. She doesn't actually do AoE. The value she would have though for triggering the Burgeons is potentially triggering them when she first uses their skill, which is meaningful. Baiju will be on Deepwood in this team, so we're gonna put Dia on. I guess we'll do maximum. We'll do 4-piece flop. We'll do maximum Burgeon Dia I can do. It should be better than full EM Gilded Dreams. Not crazily so, but slightly. Do I have an EM or... Yeah, it's a Circlet. Yeah, Circlet. And then... EM Goblin. Gooblet. Yeah, sure, we'll grab that from Kachina. Alright, there we go. So full EM. Wait, you gotta do a different weapon. Yeah, I probably should have switched to Fab for the Tenacity build too, but whatever. Or this weapon. This weapon actually. Oh wait. Maybe I do this weapon. Should I use this weapon? Sacrifice some of EM damage? This is the first time I think I've had a compelling reason to probably try to use this weapon. So this weapon, right, gives... You know, we can refine it. What weapon banner did I get all these from? I forgot what weapon banner I wished on. I know it was a recent weapon banner. It was Emily's weapon banner. Yeah. Niche's frick weapon. It's not that valuable in effect. This is not that strong of an effect. But she shares a... So this is like a 12% base, or 30% of 48%. It's like 15% of her EM is bonus attack for the whole team. So that would be like... about 150 attack. This I think would be the ideal weapon if it was leveled up. I guess this barely gives any EM, so I guess it does make sense. I'll level this up to 20. Yeah, it makes sense to test this. Why not? This will also make up a little bit for the difference. I don't even have those. That's funny. Okay, it's good enough. This will also make up a little bit for the difference potentially of like how Toma would not have access to this weapon, but for me, you know, Toma might have a better option for you. Still, again, Toma might be better. And again, Rain Slasher exists. You don't need this weapon. This weapon exists. You don't need this weapon. Oh yeah, I forgot this actually increases EM. This might actually be better then. Oh. Okay, well, you know, no, we're still going to use this because I think it's more fun to give Kinich more damage than it is to give Dia more Burgeon damage. But if it feels like I need to, I'll swap Dia to this for more Burgeon damage, I guess. My friends keep telling me that I should stop using Hypercarry Raiden. Are they right? I mean, if you're doing Hypercarry Raiden is specifically like Raiden with all buffers, no other damage dealers, basically. So it's like Raiden, Sara, Kazuha, Bennett is the generic Hypercarry Raiden team. If you're doing that team and you don't have Raiden C2, your friends are probably right. But if you're succeeding in clearing the content regardless and you enjoy playing Sara C6, Kazuha, Bennett, Raiden, You know, you do you. Like, why listen to someone else saying to play different things if it's still successful for you? But if you're struggling to clear with it, you know, Raiden is not a very good hyper carry. But if she's C2, she can be a hyper carry. That's basically it. Hyper carry is where you like focus the entire team's damage around that unit. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we're doing Baiju. Baiju. Dia. I do have Farina C2 by the way, but I think she is powered down. Yeah, she is definitely powered down. So she is on a fab build with why? Okay, normally she isn't even that powered down. Okay, well that's fine. But yeah, this is C2 Farina, which is buffing her damage, but I also could make her deal way more damage than she's doing. She has more ER than she needs. She is on an EM goblet instead of a Hydro or HP goblet, and that is on purpose. Not because it's going to give her more damage. Well, I guess in this team she might vape occasionally, so the EM isn't doing nothing, but it's definitely still worse. So point is, it's a significantly powered down Farina to balance out, to make her damage contribution be similar to a C2 Farina, or C0 Farina. And because I have C2, I could try to abuse her C2, like giving faster damage bonus by doing like, you know, a different unit than Baiju. But we're going to use Baiju. Because Baiju would be like there's not that much difference, point is, in this team with a C2 Farina, non-C2 Farina, for how I have configured it. Not as significant as you might expect at the very least. So is Sunflower Gene very good? I'm assuming you're talking Sunfire and it got auto-corrected. Sunfire Gene can be useful in niche scenarios. I wouldn't necessarily call it very good, but it is an interesting interaction
Right here. Emerge.
that can be valuable depending on your investment on different characters. I'm not going to reach you.
Right now. Right here.
I should have just brought Hydro. I should have just brought Hydro. Well, you know what? We're gonna yeah, we're gonna reconfigure because I want to. We're not using Bennett. Wait, also I just realized that is kind of a slight issue, not using Bennett with him, but it's fine. We have Farina instead of Bennett. It should be fine. It's worth testing. It's worth testing some non-Bennett teams for sure. So, you know, why am I having such an issue with the Baiju? India. Kundus. Alright. Didn't mean to hit that dude, but whatever. Juggling him. There we go. Success. That's what I wanted to do. Oh boy. Don't you kill me. That's not ideal, but it's fine. You're wrecked. Would replacing Farina with the Elan work? Probably, yes. But you also shouldn't use Baiju. You shouldn't bother with Baiju, most likely. Like probably you could do Elan. I don't know. Would Elan Bennett make sense? I don't know. But yes, Kinich can trigger Elan's procs. I just don't know if it. I don't think Elan is necessarily a slaughter replacement in keeping Baiju here unless you really need the healing. But you could swap to someone else that could do healing and something else beneficial for the team, right?
Seems like an emergency. Locked up. Claim these souls. turn for the better. A bitter pill to swallow.
Oh, wrong character. Wrong character.
Got him cornered. The eternal awaits.
We're definitely... it definitely didn't look like we were generating that many Emergent cores. I guess it wasn't obvious.
Seems like an emergent. Locked up. The Lord of the Night.
But also... it's still pretty good. Still pretty good. Dion 4-piece instructors. No, actually, that would be an interesting option, though. That no, actually no, 4-piece instructors would not make sense. No, never mind. She's on 4-piece flop. The 4-piece flowers of paradise, the bloom virgin damage buffing set. Oh, I was not prepared for that. Not to get his not to get his ult there. Oh, frick, man. Ah, frick. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna wipe everything without.
We go.
Alright, there we go. Oh wait, I didn't have to do that because I had Arlecchino's skill. Okay, well that was stupid. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just being dumb. I think I absorbed that early. Not in all rooms that well. I should have been able to one rotate that, but it's fine. It's fine. Just, it's fine. I'm just bad. It's fine. Why did I never mark it? Oops. Can you stop jumping back? I just did that chicken, I think, as slowly as I possibly could with that team. Okay, do you? Let's try to watch. I'm gonna try to watch the Virgin Core generation here. You. All right. Okay. I feel like I might want to... Okay, right here that didn't actually make sense. But I think that it might actually make sense to start with Kinich alt when you're rotating between other characters. For the reason being just to have some Virgin Core generation going. Oh, well, okay. Just to have some Virgin Core generation going. Of course you're still... What? Where did that go? When you are doing other characters' animation. Like, there might be a reason to do that. That's something that would have to be... That's... Stop. Oh, the wrong character. I don't know, it's pretty dang good. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of it is the strength of Farina. But I really like this team right now for notably freeing Kinich from the shackles of Bennett and having to worry about swinging back into the circle. It makes him a little bit less annoying to think about playing, for sure, is what I would say. So, you know. God.
Wanted my full attention, did you? Overrule.
We do not heal in this house. We just kill. That does damage? Oh, okay. Apparently I should have healed in this house. Think Bennett will get power crop? Probably not. I think it's very, very likely the Pyro Archon is going to be a team attack buffer, but she will probably not buff as much as Bennett. Oh my god. She probably also won't heal. Like, it would require a Pyro buffer that is like doing as much buffing, but doesn't do circle impact and, you know, still has healing. Like a team-wide healer, like Bennett power creep would be if they're like a team-wide healer, same kind of Bennett buff. but like no circle of impact. That would be Bennett power creep. But also they would have to like not do pyro application from off field, because like that's one thing people don't like that team I was just playing. I do not like if the Pyro Archon, for example, buffed as much attack as Bennett did, but then did her own damage, right? That team ceases functioning with extra pyro application from off field from the Pyro Archon, right? Like it would screw up my ability to use Candace to get vapes on Arlecchino, and that would screw up like potential fast rotations. Like I would not prefer the Pyro Archon in extra pyro application in that team. So like Bennett power creep would require a unit very similar to Bennett, but just doesn't do circle impact, or does a team-wide heal, or does more buffing, and I don't think they're going to do that. There's going to be alternatives to attack buffing probably added to the game, but it's not going to be specifically Bennett power creep. It's not going to completely invalidate any reason to use Bennett. But needing less reasons to use Bennett because of the fact that they keep releasing, you know, attack scaling units that perform substantially different as far as their personal damage with or without Bennett, you know, like Kinich, and are awkward to use with them. Like, there is need for more attack buffers in the game that aren't Bennett. But just because if we get more attack buffers does not mean it's Bennett power creep, right? And we don't want Bennett power creep. We want more options. You butthole. I don't actually need to do 2 E's, by the way, but it doesn't matter. That I should have done that after skill, I acknowledge. I just didn't think about it. I think we're not hitting the Burgeons there because weird hitbox things. Also, it went out of the range there as well.
Seems like an emergency.
He didn't fly out of range. I think we would have been able to get him down to his next phase in 1 cycle. I think. Why did you just target that? Don't target that. Oh, that's actually... No, I didn't want you to... okay, that's fine. I did it again! Frick! Are you not dead yet? Oh, you teleported! Oh good, you switched at least. I'm gonna redo this just because I wanna try to play around this. The mechanical cube is weird. Like, you can have, like, depending on what the cube does and like and the different enemies it spawns and which one you have to kill, it's so like RNG heavy for like your actual clear times. I wanna fight it again to get a better approach to compare to like the Emily team I brought to that before, because it felt quite a bit worse than the Emily team there, but I don't think it actually is that much worse. It might be that much worse against that enemy, I guess, specifically. I think, what am I taking damage from? Oh, burning. Wait, no, I don't think you were burning. Does he just cause... yeah, he causes fire in the ground. Okay. That's annoying. It's fine, though. I think it's a fine, interesting mechanic. As long as it's not, like, just insta-kill me. I didn't actually mark you. Whatever. Hydro damage. Do it. Die. There we go. Yes, Candace is C6. If you want Candace and Arlecchino to work well together, you want C6. Unfortunately.
Remember, let's get it on. Target acquired.
Alright, do this. Oh, you know what? I should have waited to do that after he launched in the air. Okay, that's fine. Alright. We're not getting quite as much damage from Kinich, right, as we did with Bennett. That's also not like it's bad, right? So there we go, right? That was basically killing it in 1 rotation. Like, we kind of had to start the next rotation, but I didn't have to start doing Kinich again, at least. I probably could have saved Farina even, maybe. Farina ult. Okay. I'm just gonna let them die, please. Oh, you're shielding! Freaking butthole. We don't have Farina above gun right now. Yeah. So yeah, that felt like that first clear there felt more just down to RNG on the enemy than anything, and or slight misplays on my part. So the point is, I think that team felt very, very similar to the Emily team. Better in many ways because of being detached from Bennett. There is potential, I think, to do Bennett still with him in Burgeon if you want to see more damage. Like, what does that look like? What does Burgeon team with him look like with Bennett? I don't even know. Is there actually potential to do that? I don't know, because you need some off-field pyro, right, to trigger the Burgeons. So if you're doing Burgeon with him with Bennett, he's solo Dendro, and I don't think solo Dendro Burgeon is going to be that meaningful. Like, we're going to see so few Burgeons. Like, even the additional Dendro from Baiju, as low as it is meaningful as far as getting some additional value from Burgeons, right? But I mean, I'm just thinking in the lines of buffing Kinich more, right? So, for the sake of testing, let's check, right? I don't have Toma leveled up, but yes, Toma should be probably a bit better than Dia for a Burgeon as far as consistently triggering Burgeons, but as kind of expected, at least with Farina's weird variable Hydro application, I didn't see crazy consistent generation on Burgeon cores to a degree where I think it meaningfully matters to use Toma over Dia there. But there is different situational utility and timing of Burgeon core generation that would make Toma potentially better than Dia, or maybe worse than Dia in some ways or another. But yes, I don't think it's of a significant enough difference that it matters that much, and I don't have him level 90 to compare, so you know. Oh, and now we are not okay. Well, you know, let's do, I don't know, should we do a Mulani team, I guess? Oh, what I'm using the teammates I normally like to use for Mulani. Okay, well, man, this first chamber's annoying. Okay, whatever, screw it, we're just gonna clear it slowly with the with the Chevreuse, because I don't feel like thinking about the team that much. Kinich doesn't apply a lot of Dendro? No. Nope. But it still might be enough Burgeon cores that it's not really a problem, and this team might, like, the Bennett variation of this team instead of Baiju might still be better. I will note that this is definitely the Bennett variation of this Burgeon team is potentially going to be affected more meaningfully by Farina C2 because it's a less ideal healer situation, right?
Nothing lasts forever. Emerge. Right here. Emerge. Hands right to see 'em.
Hi, please. You didn't die. That's annoying. Oh, that's annoying. Jump, please. Oh, you didn't jump far enough. Well, okay. Okay. Heal a little bit, I guess. No. Can't say this is ideal, but it's fine.
Right now.
Don't kill me.
Right here.
There we go. There we go.
Adventure time.
Okay, do this. Let's do this to get some Burgeons going. Do that. Also, I don't have any. Oh, I don't have any Deepwood going in the team, so technically, like, Dia should be on full EM Deepwood in this context. Oh. Ow, ow, ow. Like, if it wasn't obvious, we weren't making that many Burgeon cores there. Obviously, we will be against this dude, because he's Hydro, always, all the time. Yeah, I know. bad. Why didn't I Bennett? I don't know why I didn't Bennett. Don't worry about it. I have no idea. My brain works in mysterious ways sometimes. Ow. Like, yeah, nice 233k there. Alright. More damage on Kinich, less Burgeons, right? Which, I don't know. It's interesting. It's still a compelling team variation. I think this one's definitely a bit more fragile, for sure. This might be a compelling use case for doing Maiden's Bennett with a non-C2 Frina in particular, but also even with a C2 Frina to make the team more tanky. C6 Bennett is good or bad. It's my favorite constellation in the game. Will it be yours? I don't know. That's how you like playing the game. I do still wish you could turn it off. Oh, that's interesting. I lost some fusion before the cooldown was done. I do wish you could turn it off, because there are niche scenarios where C6 Bennett is problematic, but they're niche scenarios where it's problematic, and there are many scenarios where C6 Bennett is beneficial in some way or another. What are some good Hatham teams? Why are people asking these kinds of questions in the Kinich stream? Go KQM character name. There you go. There's some good Kinich teams. They have... KQM does great guides. You can Google them. They segment their sections, and you can look up all the good Alhaven teams. Sorry to be a butthole. You're just looking for like what's Alhaven's recommended teams. And there's easy sources for this. Okay. Do the Bennett. Alhaven's teams haven't really changed realistically, other than like, you know, Farina is compelling with him, right? Okay. Here's where I should have done that, as I was doing Farina probably most likely. Crit, sad. Oh. Yeah, switch to you. Take some damage from you. Yep. Ow. Really? Okay. Case in point of the team is more fragile with Bennett. Best Alhatham team, Hyperbloom or Quick Bloom? They're the same thing. Quick Bloom is something that is only like, actually they're not even really the same thing. It's just, Alhatham is literally just like a, you know, you slot into one of the same things like Kinich, you can slot into a Hyper Bloom team. The only difference is Alhatham, like Kinich, when you slot Kinich into a Hyper Bloom team, you usually want a second Dendro. Alhatham is going to be better for a Hyper Bloom team than Kinich because Alhatham applies a much more meaningful amount of Dendro and better AoE notably. It depends on the situation if that matters, right? But more Dendro application from Alhatham means you could do like a solo Dendro Hyperbloom team with Alhatham. Farina can die? Yes, indeed. So, you know, like, but anyways, like Alhatham himself doesn't trigger blooms, right? So that's why it doesn't make sense to call an Alhatham team, if you're configuring the team around Alhatham, a Quick Bloom team, right? You could do Quick Bloom Yai, because Yai can trigger blooms, and Quick Bloom is like, the reason Quick Bloom is a term is for when you like, you're specking the unit triggering the blooms, like usually an on-fielder, into getting some meaningful bloom damage. Like you're building some, you know, an EM timepiece on them. They have like, if Yai has like 300, 400 EM, whatever, with buffs going on. You know, with Nahida going on, it might be up to like 500, 600 EM potentially, yada yada, right? Then you have a bunch of EM through buffs or otherwise, and, you know, but you're also doing meaningful crit-based damage on your Electro unit. That's when, like, you know, you can do Yai Quick Bloom. Quick Bloom isn't really a term that makes sense for Alhatham because he can't trigger blooms. He is helping generate blooms for someone else to trigger, which means it's just like more the normal hyper bloom format because Al Hadib is on field. Someone is off field triggering hyper blooms like Raiden or Kuki, and you just put them on full EM, which is just hyper bloom. So, yeah. I don't think it makes sense to call Al Hatham a quick bloom unit.
Right now, right here, emerge. That's quite enough. Drop your weapons.
Do things. Kinich feels like a meme character for a while. Will be used for a while. No one will use him. Maybe, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that it's no different than any character, quite frankly. He's in a balanced enough state that I feel like the people that really like him will use him for a while. Heal.
Overruled. By royal decree. Right here, emerge.
How much difference is C6 Chev versus C0? Enough to clear? Depends on the team. Depends on your account. Is it like a significant difference? Potentially, yes. Like the problem is like if you go watch like Zajeff's banner review video, he like describes C6 versus C0 Chev as, you know, C0 Chevreuse is the difference maker between making some characters' best teams be a Chevreuse team. Whereas without C6 Chevreuse, it's not one of their best teams, but it's still a good team for them, right? Ultimately, I think that's the wrong framework, because like you don't need to have the best teams for characters. You just need to have enough to clear the content, right? And quite frankly, like Chevreuse C0, I have used Chevreuse pre-C6 for like 8 months on this account with like that same team, and I've had no problem clearing, right? Like, especially for the likes of Arlecchino, it doesn't matter when Arlecchino's so strong. But if you're talking, you know, making, I don't know, Yanfei Chevreuse slightly stronger with Chevreuse C6, maybe you'll notice it a lot more, right? Because Yanfei's a weaker character. Like, yeah, like it's good enough. She's good enough at C0. Is Chevreuse C0 worth the risk to get if you don't have Chevreuse at all? In my opinion, probably. But it really depends on, you know, what feature characters you're saving for, whatever. So, you know. But is it worth going for C6 Chevreuse? For most players? No. I don't think so. And again, I think, like, the damage increase from Chevreuse C6 is not the most relevant part of her kit. I think the most relevant part is the healing, because it will make her teams feel a bit more comfortable. You know, I think we are getting like... Oh, that still landed. Oh, but he blocked it? What? Okay. It like... Did anyone notice that? Like, it went into him, but then it still... You butthole. Yeah, I'm not... Okay, particularly against this dude. I don't know if it's not obvious, but we're getting not much burning happening, right? So you can see we're not even gonna get... Yeah, we didn't even get... Without using his ult there, we couldn't even get a third scale spiker cannon shot. Because we didn't have consistent burning or burgeons happening. Because of the enemy's movement. So... Yeah. That is a situation where like Tomo would have probably been noticeably better, I guess, in this team context, is probably what I would say. Is the main conclusion from that. Range attacks get blocked by Magu. That's what it is. That's what I figured. Figured it was an enemy mechanic. Thanks for the clarification. Let's do this. Why? I don't know. Who doesn't love it? It's kind of disappointing how the only new Dendro characters are only built for specific niches and can't do normal Dendro stuff. I mean, they can do normal Dendro stuff, but... I don't know. It's just how they gotta kind of balance characters, ultimately. I don't disagree that it is a little bit disappointing, but I also think people are underestimating how the likes of Emily can do normal Dendro stuff. Emily has replaced situations where I would previously use Nahida. Right? It's not exactly the same as Nahida, and it's clear to me that they don't want to design, you know, a Dendro unit that is doing the same things that Nahida does, but you know, I do think they should hopefully eventually in the future replace a character that does a meaningful Dendro application and is an alternative to Nahida. Instead of having to do, you know, weird mixes of other things to approach Nahida's Dendro application. But I don't know if they'll ever do that because they kind of want to make the Archon be the Archon. So I don't know. Like, characters have to be differentiated in some way, no? One. Oh my god, the camera there. I just pressed this E to see what would happen. Okay, we got 3. We only got 3, but that's fine. As long as we get 3 for sure. Yeah, I don't think this team is better than the Baiju variation. I don't really like it that much more. I think it's more just ultimately down to not enjoying Bennett with him that much, right? Is there any other Farina teams we can think about that are not with Bennett? I probably shouldn't have. Also should have done that. Whatever. All the things incorrectly. Okay, we got the 3rd shot, thankfully. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. I think Toma in this specific, if you're going to try this team variation, I think Toma would be meaningfully better in most situations. The camera shot is really cool to see. I mean, yeah. But the swing up with the camera when he was up there is interesting. Yeah, it's funny. Since that's not normally a thing you can see. It's true. I don't know. I'm getting used to the disorient. Like, I'm not getting nearly as disoriented as I was before. Which is a good thing. That does make me more interested in actually leveling him up more. I don't know if I'm going to prioritize it, though. His kit is still not, like, crazily interesting to me. It's all gimmick, nothing else to me, right? So he's interesting, but I don't know. I'm not feeling as like ugh with the camera movement as I was originally, which is probably just my brain getting used to it, right? Yeah, brain does indeed adapt, and it's a good thing. So you know, I am more positive right now than I was at the start of this stream, and than I was yesterday. What else can we do with him? We could switch to trying to do some weird burst support shenanigans with him with like Raiden or something, but I don't think there's that. It's not that compelling of a use case ultimately, especially with how is his burst, right? Is targeting in kind of goofy ways. Where if one enemy is to the left and one enemy is to the right, he's going to target them to the left, and it's like the line-based AoE is rarely going to actually be doing AoE Dendro application with Kenich's burst. So I do not think burst support Kinich is actually compelling. I get the sense that Mualani and Kinich are about as good as each other. I think Mualani is better personally. But I'm biased towards liking her a little bit more, because I just find how she works more engaging. Both of these characters can be a little bit jank in their own way though. So ultimately I'd say it's up to preference. They're relatively similar. In design, fundamental design, as far as both being carry units that will have not, like they have relatively limited team variety. You know, they have Mualani is really very much designed around trying to, you know, getting the value out of her. Will want you to do vapes on her, and she has like options where she can work without doing vaporized teams, like, you know, mono, hydro, whatever. But really, if you want to get value out of her, you do a vape team, right? And that limits her teams quite significantly. And Kinich is very much, you know, what you want to do, burning and Burgeon, and that can limit his teams very significantly. And also, he has problems with like Bennett. So I guess we can try Hyper Bloom team variations, by the way. I think what's Kuki on? And Gilded Dreams, 800. Wait, 2-piece Gilded Dreams. Okay, your artifact obviously got stolen by someone in the past. Put you back on full EM Gilded Dreams. We'll be fine for testing this. So yeah, let's test. We'll test Hybrid Bloom Kuki. So this is a more this is probably someone else, like, you know, a free to play team. So, and again, free to play doesn't actually mean anything, but let's test a more free to play accessible team, right? Where in the sense of low investment. Like, people say free to play, what they actually should be asking is low investment. What is a lower investment? And lower investment means biasing towards 4-star characters or free characters like Dendro Traveler. So we're gonna check how Kinich Hybrid Bloom performs with this team. If you have Nahida, in case it's not obvious, Nahida would be meaningfully stronger than Dendro Traveler. And you could use Yelan, you could do Raiden instead of Kuki as well, and there'd be reasons to do that, but we're gonna try it like this, right? And see how it do. And then after we'll try. Actually, you know what? We're gonna try this one first, just in the first side for simplicity, and then I think I'll do a full run through with Farina instead of Singcho, because I think Farina would be compelling as a choice. Because actually, wait, no. How do we do Farina? Oh no, we'll try. No, okay, no, never mind. We will try to go all the way through with this team and see how it does. Because we can compare this to doing Farina, Kuki, and Baiju, I would say. So yeah. Well, we could do Kinich, Baiju, Farina, Kuki as a Hyper Bloom team variation instead of this, right? So a lower investment versus a higher investment variation. The Farina variation is probably going to be meaningfully stronger, go figure. But we'll see. Also, my Singcho is not meaningfully crazily invested, so again, low investment, right? Like, he is C6. He will be able to... apparently... Oh yeah, I was messing around with putting him on a Noblesse build. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have a leveled up timepiece. That is his main issue. Wait, what is this? Oh, I remember. Yeah, that insult. It was a 4-line HP double crit ER, and it insulted me with a bad roll. Or bad roll immediately, and I was like, nope. Alrighty. Well, this is not exactly an ideal Noblesse build, is what I would say. Do I not have a Courier Circlet in Noblesse? Noblesse works perfectly fine on him, by the way. I have it on Bennett, but I don't really want to steal Bennett's piece. Okay, do I switch him back? The reason I was putting him on Noblesse is because, like, Noblesse can be perfectly competent and good on him, but obviously I just never finished leveling up his pieces. And as you can tell, emblem pieces are popular on many other units, so you know what? Screw it. We're just going to keep him on Noblesse. It'll be fine. He's not going to do that much damage, though. Sorry. It's the lowest of lowest investment we will test. That's what it is. Amount of level 80 Nahidas and Yaimi, because this scene is enough to give me an aneurysm. Dude, no, you bottle. Yeah, you come back over here. Wait. Oh, no. Oh, I didn't juggle him. Oops. Okay, well, I could have done that better. I'm just going to try to do a full normal rotation. Oh, good, I didn't even have to do that extra swap. I did an extra swap to try to make sure I got the shield in. Okay. Candace is much better at getting to that shield than I thought she would be. Nice. So they really... It does kind of feel like they modified... Like, that shield went down much quicker than I thought with Hydro. It feels like they modified that shield to purposely not work. Like, Electro doesn't work against it very well at all. Curious about Candace. She's just on 4-piece emblem. Or no. Is she on 4-piece emblem? I think she's on 4-piece emblem. Arguably she could be on something else though. No, sorry. I think she's on 4-piece instructors normally, but I don't think she's actually on 4-piece instructors right now. But 4-piece instructors is the best like variation of a build that you can do for Candace. It's just hard to meet her ER needs potentially. So, you know, if you can meet her ER needs, oh god, what is I didn't check Dender Traveler's build. Oops.
I got him cornered.
Alright, what do we get? Still 117,000 damage, not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. But also my Dender Traveler build. Oh no, why does she have Alhaitham's weapon? I also forgot to do the second E on St. Joe. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh dear. Okay, well, suffice to say, I recommend not putting Alhaitham's weapon on your Dender Traveler. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's yeah. Oopsies. Did you even have 4-piece Deepwood? I'm going to guess no. Nope. Yup. Okay, and it didn't even have the timepiece, which was like the most important piece. I guess that's not too surprising. Apparently I was doing something with Yao Yao a while ago. Alright. Alright, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this is... I mean, look, with double Dender, this actually might be a good build. The problem is I don't have a level 90 Dender Traveler, so their damage really doesn't matter. So I may as well use Favge and just, yeah, yep, there you go. Okay. Yep. Try that again. Try that again. And hopefully we can burst every rotation with Kinich, so that we can consistently get 3 skills out in this situation. If you, I do think bursting every rotation for that purpose in a Hyperbloom team might be relevant. Because if you can only get 2 skills out, that's a quite significant loss. I don't know why I'm struggling so much. There we go. We're just Synccho, and then a cookie. Oh, you can double check Candace. Yeah, she's on 4-piece emblem right now. Okay, yeah. Normally though, if I'm trying to actually like optimize the damage output of this team, it is better to put Candace on instructors. I just like playing Alhaitham. His teams are really squishy. Yeah, I mean, squishiness wasn't the problem I felt, but yeah, I don't think he's the most engaging unit to play either. One dude comes to me. Lost some base there, but yeah, whatever. Good, we're juggling. Or we're stunning him. Kind of did that wrong, but it's fine. Doesn't actually matter that much. There we go. Just gonna do that so we don't die. Nope, nope, nope. There we go. A little bit scuffed. I bet Arlecchino's gonna rerun around the Pyro Archon's release. Or right before. Okay, let's do this, that, this.
Let me lead you a bit. Bond is strong.
Locked up. The Lord of the Night.
Is Cookie even hitting these, by the way? I didn't even notice. How many of them is she hitting? Because if she doesn't hit them consistently, that means you have to use Raiden, or you really want to use Raiden, and that's not ideal for a low investment variation. That's not ideal either. I guess I don't actually have to use Xingqiu here, but may as well for the defensive utility. I think we're pretty decently hitting them consistently enough. I didn't use his burst here. Yeah, you can see if you don't use his burst, you can't get that third shot, which is really awkward. But yeah. Can you try Kinich on Dvalin? How the F is he? Oh yeah. Remind me after I do this run through. We'll go try Kinich on Dvalin. Oh boy, it's gonna be jank. Oh, it's gonna be jank. 100%. Oh my god. Why am I in this situation with Bennett? Whatever, it doesn't matter. We just don't need the Bennett. It's fine. Get out of the air.
Let's light it up. I'm going in.
No.
We shall prevail.
God, stop it. No.
Transfixed. Everybody stand.
I'm not gonna use Candace. I'm gonna save it. Hello. Ahmed from India. Solomon Ahmed, specifically. Sacrificial Greatsword proc for Kinich? It should. Really? Oh man, wasting fab procs.
Bond is strong.
Target acquired.
That's 130k. Yeah, he still gets like pretty decent damage. This is why like he can be a compelling unit for Hyperbloom, just because like his raw multipliers are good enough that he can just get pretty decent damage, right? Oh boy. Apparently my Dendro Traveler does not have enough ER though, which is kind of weird. Can I trigger Fab? Why? I have like 50% crit rate and R5F. Why? Wow. Okay.
I got him cornered.
Not gonna use his ult here, obviously. Yep.
Time to act.
What? Okay, good. We managed to. Yep. Good. Frick me. Whatever. I didn't get. Oh my god! I just grappled and. Well, okay. Well, turns out Magu Kenki is still awkward as all hell. Surprise. I know I don't have non-heated or Kuki going. No, yeah, okay, fine. Hey, I got lucky with getting C6 Kuki. I'm pretty confident I could optimize this down and clear this. But running into, you know, Magu Kinky issues, right? Like, yeah, obviously I could clear this. I'm just not going to stress myself with trying to do that. So, especially considering how obviously unoptimal my Xingqiu Dendro Traveler situation was there. There's relatively easy, obvious things to be fixed there. That could result in me clearing, but you know, I wouldn't say that team was great, obviously. But it's still worthwhile to show as an example of a low investment team option. Methinks. Use Burning Team, loser. Welcome to getting banned, loser. For being a rude butthole. But sorry, that just ticked me off. All you literally had to do was go rewind the stream. You're watching a video that's one of the benefits of streaming on YouTube. It's why I do it. So if you wanted to see a particular team, I literally tested a bunch of different variations of burning teams first. Yeah, he is my A-jaw, apparently. How? Sorry. You could have just rewinded and gone to see when I was testing burning teams. I'm in the point of testing, okay, what's a very low investment variation of a team I can test with Kinich? Hence why I'm testing this. I am not testing this because I think it's the best team. So, use your head for a little bit and realize that you can rewind and watch different points of the video. I'm sorry for being rude, but you deserve it. Let's see the camera. Whee! Let's see, can we get a third shot? Nope. Okay. I think I could have gotten a third shot if I did that a little bit better, but. Oh, I'm already into this? Okay. Well, that's kind of funny. Oh boy. Oh boy. This feels like it's just entirely a non-ideal situation for me here. I just want to heal a little bit on you. Oh my god, I hit the wrong thing. Oh my god. That's so awful. Why? Why are you homing into the wrong... Is that what was happening there? I feel like that's what was happening. That was kind of close. I'm not 100% sure that's what was happening there. Really? There we go. Okay. Obviously my builds are non-ideal here. But, you know. What? I don't know what happened there. Why did I de-grapple? I really have no idea what happened there. So, yeah. Anyways. A little bit of targeting goofiness there. You can manually aim it. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. I could have tried manually aiming it. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that was obviously a very, very, as low investment as I could possibly simulate a Kinich team, but still performing competently, right? I had Deval in time. So, does Kinich have auto-targeting? Any character that has any kind of auto-targeting mechanism has auto-targeting issues in this game. Yeah, we'll test a higher variation of a Hyperbloom, higher investment variation of a Hyperbloom team with Farina Baiju instead, because I think that will be an interesting point of comparison. We'll see. What's my overall opinion of Kinich so far? He's a fairly well-balanced unit, with a big L asterisk on hope. You know, you might get disoriented with the camera movement stuff. So you know. Play, you know, even Risley has auto-targeting issues, exactly. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. He's a perfectly fine balanced unit. He has enough different teams that he can feel competent in. I don't think it's going to be that hard, and he's easy to build. Then one of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, of the artifact sets that give so much crit rate, isn't that oh my god, they're so much better than any other artifact set in the game. Artifact power creep, yay! No, it is. That, oh, you know what, Emily, oh, frick. Emily might just kill him by accident. Well, let's see what happens. Don't kill him. Oh, good, Emily's not killing him. Okay. So what happens if I go gravel? Okay, I mean, I guess this is not unsurprising. Okay, what happens if I go down here, though? Honestly, it was less jank than I expected. Yeah, it was less jank than I expected. At least buggy Deval and fight, indeed. Would you say Kinich is at the same power level as Mualani? They're a little bit different in exactly how they work, but yeah, they're relatively similar power level. I would say that's a fairly accurate statement right now. But yeah, if you don't have Emily, obviously you're lacking in some potential strong team options for him, for sure. But there are definitely ways to get use out of him without Emily. So, you know. And I also suspect that the Pyro Archon will be good for him. I'd say his biggest problem is I don't really like Bennett with him that much. Like, obviously he works with Bennett, and Bennett can give him quite meaningful, significant value. But I don't like having to think about going back into the circle constantly. That's basically all it is. It's annoying. He is much more fun to play when I don't have to worry about Bennett, right? That's basically my vibe right now. So in that vein, we might go try to test out some Emily teams that aren't using Bennett, actually, when I think about it. But let's try the Hyperbloom variation, but with Farina Baiju as a comparison to the extremely low investment variation. Yeah, we'll just keep on doing the. I don't know why I was struggling, brain struggling there. There we go. Can each burst stay off field? Yes, it does, but it's weird, and like it's, I don't know. I at this point, I think I am now back to, I will at least make a video on Kinich. I don't know if it might just be a weird like style of review video, kind of like I tried to do with Mualani. I should have done a little bit differently, that's fine. But we'll see. I don't know when it'll happen. The only problem is, like, I know in, like, I don't really think I enjoy him enough to... Don't you kill me. Alright, there we go. I don't know if I enjoy him enough.
My turn.
I thought I could power... I thought I could get through his shield before he killed me. I don't know if I enjoy him enough to bother investing in him meaningfully more. Right? Because, like, this Abyss cycle is buffing him to a point of how he would perform in Abyss cycles that aren't buffing him crazily. And I think the time that I'm going to enjoy playing him is right now. And, like, after his 3-week banner period, I'm not going to bother using him. Really, other than, like, I don't know, for Theater, I guess when Dendro's in Theater, I might use him. But he doesn't really need to be past level 70 for Theater. So I think he's going to stay level 70. And if I make an edited video about him, there's going to be people like... He's level 70. Clearly you don't like him because he's not invested enough. Even if, and these people will say this, even if I have a section in the video, like including the damage calculator, like I did this stream, where it literally shows how in Abyss he's performing as if he would with this blessing, as if he would if he was crowned at level 90. So, there's some trick around his E, you gotta ult in between. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but it's not so... I yapped about it before. Yes, using his ult when you are doing a skill gives him 1.7 seconds extra. How important that is depends on if it actually gives you an extra Scale Spiker cannon shot. If you do not get an extra Scale Spiker cannon shot from his ult, it's not that important. But in the context of like the Hyperbloom teams that we've been playing, using his ult during his skill is pretty important because it is the difference maker between getting an extra Scale Spiker cannon shot or not. So, it depends. I'd say most of Kinich's strongest teams don't really need him to ult consistently with any variation, or any significant need, I guess. And you don't spec into extra ER, right? It's kind of what it comes down to. Wrecked them. That is why Candace and Arlecchino are fun, by the way. When you get situations like that. That feels so good when you're getting that AoE damage with AoE whatever. No, I never said Kinich was bad. What? I said like ulting on him isn't the most relevant. Candace on Tenacity? No. No. Candace is on Emblem. She should be on Instructors, but I don't care. Alright.
Taking a turn for the better.
Yeah, like in this circumstance, we definitely are going to ult right now. Nice 180k. Because of the new enemy spawning, we might not get a third shot. Okay, yeah. See, we didn't get a new shot, but that was because I think the third enemy spawning. No.
Seems like an emerge.
Bond is strong.
Locked up.
I also do think I need to do better with getting into his little thing there. I also didn't ult before. Oops, whatever. My bad. My bad there. Was a mistake. Yep, if it's not obvious, this is immediately quite a lot stronger than the extremely low investment version of the Hyperplane team. What a surprise. But yeah. Is there Arlecchino C0? C1. But I played that team quite a bit without her C0 or without her C1. Only reason I have C1 was because I literally did a 10 pull at like 0 pity or 5 pity or whatever, you know, and got a very lucky Arlecchino C1. I think I had that in a video somewhere where I was just like, yeah, I really like Arlecchino. You know what? LOL, let's do a YOLO 10 pull. And then it pooped a C1 on me. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it. But no, trust me, this team performs more than well enough without Arlecchino at a C1. But yes, the damage will be slightly lower. Stop going in there. Really? Oh yeah. I just keep on dying, man. It's completely a skill issue. It would not be surprising if Arlecchino reruns before Shenhe. I appreciate, by the way, that like you can see anyone talking about Shenhe like not rerunning, right? Mentions a lot of people mentioning how, in case you haven't seen this, Hoyoverse has released 2 new games between the now and the last time Shenhe reran. Like Shenhe reran before Honkai Star Rail release. That was the last time Shenhe reran. Like what? What is wrong with them? Like, rerun your dang characters. Also, I didn't get my energy back in Candace. That was not exactly ideal, to say the least. But oh well. Just whack things for a little bit.
Let's light it up. Teamwork is strength.
Okay, well, I'm screwing up all the things. Oh well. Oh well. It's fine. Oh yeah, Star Rail also went up to 4 banners in the time since Shenhe's last rerun. Like, they figured out how to fix the rerun problem in Star Rail. To be clear, the rerun problem was going to become more of a problem faster in Star Rail because they released more 5 stars in Star Rail than they do here, so it made sense. But also, it's been 4 years this game's been out and they haven't figured out this. Like, whatever.
Remember,
The bond is strong.
locked up.
So one thing I am like unsatisfied about right now with his kit is how I purposely didn't use his burst there because I figured we would kill him. Like right now, it does really kind of feel like oh, I thought I would iframe that. Obviously, I did not. Also, yeah, Kuki. So as far as Hyperbloom goes, first of all, Kuki does have some issues, in case it's not abundantly clear, with trying to consistently trigger these things. We also don't seem to have enough ER to burst consistently. Oh, I got the 3rd shot off without bursting. Interesting. Okay. So you can get 3 shots out without bursting, in a non-burning Burgent team. You just gotta like nail the timing. I think it's not easy. I mean that's the only time I've managed to get 3 shots out without bursting. When you don't have burning burgeon going on. So yeah, Raiden would be better there for sure, substantially. But then now we're talking like a 4 limited 5-star version of the team. So, like, but the what I was trying to mention before though was the sad part is about that team is like that was one of the more enjoyable Kinich teams to play. Like, I think I enjoyed it more than this team because of how I don't really enjoy playing with Bennett and Kinich together, right? That's my current vibe. So, like it feels like to make Kinich shine for his his damage output in his intended playstyle gimmick with where Burgeon. You get the most scale spiker cannon shots in Burgeon and Burning teams. You kind of feel more forced towards doing Bennett. And like the Burgeon team variation I did without Bennett, to be clear, like doing Kinich, Farina, Baiju, so the same core, but then did Dia instead of with instead of Kuki there. Like Kinich, Baiju, Farina, Dia, and Kinich, Baiju, Farina, Kuki felt very similar, like almost exactly the same, right? And I think like if I swapped to Raiden on an EM build, I think like the Raiden team would probably feel better than the Burgeon team. Even if I had Toma leveled up, and I can't like I would if I had Toma leveled up to 90, I would compare Toma to Raiden in exactly the same team. So like, yeah. Right now, like, my preferred variation seems to be Kinich, Farina, Baiju, Flex. And the Flex is do Dia if I want to do Dia Burgeon, or do Toma if I had Toma leveled up, or do Raiden or Kuki for Hybrid Bloom. Which kind of makes him feel a little bit boring, quite frankly. Like, he kind of just feels like a compelling like, if you have a team format that is doing some amount of meaningful damage through some other form, right? You can slot him in as like your on-fielder in the flex slot, assuming your other things work off-field, right? So he kind of feels in a weird middle ground right now. So I don't know. It's odd. Would you say he's low investment? Yes, I mean, because he can use these new artifacts, right? And he has, like, I showed earlier how R5 of this weapon will perform very similar to an R1 gravestone for his personal damage, right? So I obviously don't have R5 at level 90 of Earthshaker, but that it does exist, and it will perform very similar to what you've seen here. And like the artifacts I have are they're fine. Like this is okay. This is also pretty decent. This is quite good actually. This is obviously very good, but you know, would changing any one of these individual artifacts to a lower quality Dendro Goblet have crazily affected anything? No. But notably, there's also the point is like there's room to grow for investment on his build. Yeah, I don't know. What is please show Emily build? Yeah, the Emily build is very good, which right now is because Kinich is using the goblet I was using on Emily. I think the passive from... Wait, why? She shouldn't have this much total attack. I think the passive from Wolf's Greystone is going for some reason, which is weird, but I don't know why else she would have 2700 attack, but... It's a very good Emily build, for sure, with her signature weapon. Obviously, her signature weapon is good on her. Significant. She does not have very amazing options. Yeah. Could use Deepwood on Dia. Yeah, there were some team variations I tried where Deepwood on Dia would be what you would want to do. I don't have much more time to test stuff. I need to go. He looks solid, but a bit iffy to play on uneven terrain. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure I could find somewhere where he kind of... The camera does jank out, I would say, on uneven terrain, which is a lot of places in Overworld. Like, I still suspect I will not want to use him very often for overworld for that reason.
You really are a one-trick pony, you know.
I don't see anything nearby. No, there's enemies over there, I think. There's penguins. Penguins. Theater buff, maybe? I mean, yeah. He would be stronger in theater with buffs going, of course. I think well, that is one, like, interesting. Like, his raw multipliers being as strong as they are, does make him, I think, a fairly compelling theater character. Like, even if you're putting him in non-ideal teams, just as long as Dendro's in the theater and you can select him, he should probably perform very well in theater, right? I suspect.
How about this? Take a seat.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. You know, like as I swing into the wall here, like, oh, the fence, I also had an instance. Let's see if we can get it to trigger again. Where last night, he was rotating around an enemy and he went into a wall. Like, I was trying to see if it would trigger here. No, I don't think it would trigger here because he just walks up it. So if you can, like, walk up the surface, I think he can slide around it, but it's, like, a little weird. But if it's a wall, like, that your character would trigger climbing on, and you grapple into it, or you're rotating around an enemy and into it, you might start climbing. I had that happen once last night. So, camera doesn't play nice with Zhongli's construct. Oh yeah, that's probably a factor too. I don't have Zhongli to test that, but yeah, that makes sense. Zhongli's camera, or you can do fun things with Zhongli's pillar, like by, you know, forcing the camera not to do a burst animation, right? It stays in the whatever you call the third person view, I guess. It doesn't do the zoop in and special animation. So I don't know. He's a fairly decent, well-balanced character. Realistically, I think his highest value is Overworld, since he has the most relevant Overworld ability. It's fairly... Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. It's fairly rare, you know, for them to... In fact, I think it's just Kinich and Kazuha that have this honor of, you know, having a mid-air ability, right? So notably, right, I think you can use this off cooldown in midair too, right? So if we go to somewhere, let's go to like Liyue, right? Somewhere high up. Actually, this is the wrong one, but whatever. But yeah, they can use Obsidian Codex. They're easy to build. So like, I don't know. I think they did a good job designing him. Like, I think most people getting him, as long as you don't mind the camera goofiness, it'll not be that hard to feel like you're getting value out of him, right? This character does not. I do not think this character will cause the problem that I had like early on when I first started playing Genshin, where like I pulled for Raiden Shogun because like everyone freaking hyped Raiden Shogun to heckin' high beyond, and then she ended up just being extremely underwhelming to me. And she was my most regretted character for a long time until I started using a much... Whoops. Well, that's fine, I guess. So do that. And it doesn't show the cooldown. Wait, can we not do a second skill on him? No. Why? So we can only do it once? Why? Second skill is Natlan only? Yeah, but second skill is without being on cooldown. Right? Like, the second skill is without being on cooldown. He should be able to just use his... He can use his skill in midair once. He should be able to use his skill in midair again after it's done on cooldown. I don't have Chiori. Right? Why? Why does Mihoyo really friggin' hate the... Like, this is a 5-star character, Mihoyo. Like, why? Why do they so badly hate the idea? Like, God, it's so weird, right? Because like the additional exploration utility, and I'm not talking second skill, I'm talking indefinite skills, off cooldown, right? I can do this indefinitely every 6 seconds when I'm not in the air, right? let me do it in the air too. It doesn't make sense to let me do one in the air and not let me do the ones off cooldown in the air. It's stupid. Yeah, I know the second skill uses the Natlan bar. Also, honestly, in Natlan, like in Natlan, the problem is the dinosaurs exist, and like the dinosaurs existing in Natlan invalidate basically any need. Like when I was doing my 100% video in Natlan, I did not feel any need. Oh, I really need Kinich in the Coatepeka Mountain instead of like just using the no, I just used the Yoshis and it was fine. Like, I didn't need Kinich. Like in Natlan, the Natlan characters' exploration abilities are least necessary in Natlan, right? That's my current feeling. So like.
Points for agility.
Them restricting these exploration abilities as much as they do outside of Natlan is so stupid to me. Like if I can use it in midair once, I should be able to use it in midair again. There's a wind current there. I think he's built around characters that are not released yet. You can have competent teams that are with characters that are released now. So no, but do I think there will be characters that release that, you know, give him a little bit more team flexibility? Notably, I think it is very likely there will be an attack buffing unit that is not Bennett that will free him from this curse of Circle Impact Bennett. Like, I do not really enjoy the Circle Impact Bennett with him. It's just an annoying. He's already like, you have to like think about the rotation and movement of enemies causes weirdness with the camera, and then having to add an additional layer of forcing yourself to not stay out of the circle more than every 1 second to make sure you have the buff up on him, constantly rotate back in the circle, and sometimes enemies will just move enough that you just can't go back in the circle, or new waves of enemies will spawn where you're just not going to have the buff. It's just like, I don't like Bennett with him, is my point. He doesn't feel great with Bennett. Oh yeah, Shao can do just skills in midair. Like yeah, any character that's been able to do skills in midair before, they let you just use the skill in midair again, off cooldown, right? And I don't know, like if they want to like fix this issue I have, where in like the Natlan characters having additional exploration abilities in Natlan, but it doesn't really feel relevant because you have the dinosaurs in Natlan. Like they should give some kind of gadget that lets you like. Right, like give a gadget that lets you store some Flogiston in Natlan and like bring it to other areas, right? So if you have that gadget active, you have Flogiston for other areas. So it's finite and it'd be annoying because you'd have to like go back, but that would be enough, like, because doing his second skill, for example, only uses, like I think maybe a 10th-ish of the Flogiston bar. So like you could go refill that gadget and you could do 10 instances of double skills at the very least. So, right, like they can do something really simple like that. That would help a lot, I feel like. I don't know. It just right now, they just operate in this weird middle ground where like their exploration abilities don't feel quite relevant enough to pull for. Particularly not relevant enough compared to the likes of the god of all exploration abilities in my mind, which is Cloud Retainer's ability. Especially because Cloud Retainer is a healer, and a healer is oftentimes nice to have. Yes, I know there's the food bag. Yeah, you can teleport, but like oftentimes you just want to have a heal when you want to heal in Overworld is my personal feeling. And, you know, having healing and significant exploration ability, and especially with how absurd her exploration is with C1, I don't know, right? So, more characters having exploration abilities is good. I just like, why are they limiting it as much as they are? That's my question. Without giving us any options. Like, they haven't addressed like that one issue where like a core thing of what Wuthering Waves felt better than Genshin for. It was like they have like a grapple hook ability that you can just use anywhere. It doesn't feel as good, anywhere near as refined as Kinich's grapple does. I would much prefer just using this all over the place in Genshin's Overworld, but their restriction for it makes it like still worse than Wuthering Waves grapple. And it's just like, apparently Mihoyo wants, you know, Wuthering Waves to still have an advantage. Like, it's like, Mihoyo, you know, you could compete, right? And make Wuthering Waves not have that advantage. So, but instead they're like, no, we need to make sure that we balance these exploration abilities to be the perfect amount of sometimes useful, but also not universally very useful, such that you know, we bait people into pulling for not constellations, just pulling for characters to get these things, but you know, making the overworld just frustrating enough, and still like it just feels like annoying design, right? To not give us more movement freedom, especially when we get these characters with these exploration abilities. I don't know, whatever. Are you pulling Xylan in C2? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna commit. So yeah, there should be a Phlogiston bank. I don't know, make it like a freaking reputation reward for doing reputation quests for all 6 tribes when they get released, or whatever. I don't know. That'd be the most obvious spot, I think. So, anyways, see if you can refund your wits so you can upgrade Rosaria. Well, no. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave. Like, I have enough heroes wits, thankfully, to I can level up Rosaria to the point of being functional. She only needs to be level 82, right? And like it did not feel like a waste of resources to take this dude to level 70 to me, but he does not feel like compelling enough unit that I'm going to meaningfully invest in him past this point. Like, yes, I could get maybe 20% more damage out of him by leveling him meaningfully past this point. If I start ending up using him again, the main thing I will do is level up his skill talent to level 8, and you know, I will probably take him to level 80 and maybe do his final ascension eventually. Like, it's not that expensive to take him to level 80 and do his final ascension. But right now he's in a very, like, not a bad character. Doesn't give me a lot of compelling reasons to choose to play him over other characters, right? So, how would I build Kinich as a support for Dender Applicator for Hyperbloom? The same way you'd build him normally. Just build him on this 4-piece set, right? And then, but the only difference is if you're using it for Hyperbloom, prioritize a little bit more ER, is what I would say. So, you know, like artifacts like this one. Because being able to burst consistently for use in Hyperbloom might be meaningful, is what I would say. Are you getting Chiori's weapon? Almost assuredly not. I don't think I'm going to get Xylan's weapon either. Xylan's weapon is strong, to be clear. And as far as, like, total value of wishes goes, going for Xylan's our weapon makes sense as far as cost of acquisition compared to her C2, but the difference is continuing to wish for Xylan in C2 for the chance of Xylan in C2 gives you a more fun constellation, right? And the weapon just gives you damage bonus, whereas the stats from Xylan in C2, most of them are just more damage, just like the weapon is. But Xylan in C2 with that energy the burst cooldown aspect with Electro units, it seems so fun to me. It seems so fun. I want it because of that. It's the only reason I want it. I would literally, gladly, and without second thought, turn off the buffs from her C2, but only keep on the Electro thing, if I could. that's So, anyways, Xylan in C1 is basically just more exploration. Like, she stays in her Night Soul state longer, so you can DPS on field her longer, so it increases her on field damage if you play her that way. It does not increase her supportive utility meaningfully, other than making she gives a little bit of interruption resistance when her buff is up, with C1 as well. So it's a valuable constellation. I don't know. Point is, I doubt I'm gonna go for her weapon, because the C2 seems too fun to me. But anyways, is there any other team? Oh yeah, I mentioned. I think the last team I would like to try testing, I guess, is an Emily team with Kinich without Bennett, because Bennett annoying. Realistically, I don't think right now you want to play an Emily team with Kinich without Bennett, is my guess. What do you even do? Like, is it like what, Bennett Xiangling or Bennett Xiangling, Dia Xiangling? But then why they just do Bennett Xiangling, right? Like, I don't even know if there is a team variation with Kinich Emily that makes sense without Bennett. I don't have Venti, unfortunately, but it could be valuable for the purpose of grouping enemies and making you get additional AoE value out of his cannon shot. It'd also be weird camera-wise, I bet. Which is maybe a downside, maybe a benefit. Obviously, Kachina doesn't make sense. I don't know. I can't think of anyone that makes sense, honestly. I really can't. Pair with Nilou. I can show Nilou quick, sure. So in a Nilou team, you really want to make sure... Oh, I removed the... Okay, well, this is not going to perform properly. I don't want to have to... I was testing Kokomi on Ocean Hued Clam on this weapon. And that means she does not have EM anymore. She doesn't have her flop build, but... Point being, Nilou should be perfectly fine with him. The valuable thing about him with Nilou is that you can get an additional form of damage that isn't your bloom damage, right? But also it's still Dendro damage, and I feel like the most valuable additional form of damage to spec into for a Nilou team is more Hydro damage, because the issue you can run into is like enemies. So for example, the first side of this abyss, right, has Dendro resistant enemy and Dendro resistant enemy. So doing entirely Dendro damage with, if your Nilou, say you have a team that's really, really good at the second side for whatever reason, but it's pretty bad at the first side for whatever reason, and you want to use the Nilou team on this side. The first side, well, you know, doing entirely Dendro damage is not ideal against Dendro resistant enemies. So speccing the team into more doing extra Hydro damage in conjunction with the bloom damage, which is Dendro damage, will give you a better experience than speccing the team into even more Dendro damage, is my kind of vibe. Anyways, I'll show it working. It'll work fine. And we'll see what damage he gets. Yeah, my bloom damage is not going to be correct. Also, I don't even think Nilou has her correct build either. So, point is, don't look at the bloom damage, look at the Kinich damage. And now, okay, well, I feel like I'd actually probably rather, yeah, still getting like 100k. I think I feel like I'd rather play, maybe a Xingqiu or a Yalon on an EM build than Kokomi here, maybe? Well, actually, no, that'd be so much less tanky, though. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it works, obviously. Like, you can still get meaningful damage, so there's potential reason to do it. But I wouldn't use him as the solo Dendro, is what I would say. Like, I don't know, you could try doing triple Hydro, I guess, with him. We can test that quick. What does triple Hydro Nilou look like? Well, the problem if you're doing triple Hydro Nilou with him, then he's the one triggering blooms, and then you need to have him have EM, which is not ideal. Although, I don't know. Like, you could do triple Hydro Nilou with Siege Queen Farina, right? Can he trigger Candace C6? Yes, he should be able to, although the range on Candace C6 I think would usually not hit anything with how far away he usually is from enemies. Right, but anyways, so, like, to show this, because this will work, this would be a way to get more damage from him by doing Farina, right? The alternative to Siege Queen would be Barbara, by the way, but, you know, obviously Siege Queen's going to be quite a bit better than Barbara here. Oh, come on. Right, like, not getting that many bloom generations. Also, again, it's probably pretty important to have enough energy to burst consistently on him in this context. So, anyways, yeah, we're getting like 16k on our blooms. Like, you'd have to configure him for bloom damage, so, I don't know, doing like triple Hydra with him as solo Dendro is a weird... I'd say it's like a meme. It's a meme comp for Nilou. It might be able to work. If you find the right balance for EM and crit on him. But I'm not going to recommend that. that's for dang sure. So, yeah. When they burst glitched and done share the cutscene did fell much better. What? I'm confused what that means. Wait, did how fell? Did he fall out of the abyss there? So, anyways, yeah, his burning team variations definitely feel reliant on Bennett. His Burgeon team variations feel reliant on Farina. Like, he can do okay without Farina, right? Obviously, we saw like 100-ish K damage without Farina in the times we tested. Without Farina or Bennett, that is. So, yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else to test? Any other ideas? Quick. Otherwise, I think that's kind of got what I gotta cut off the stream, because I told my parents I would show up around 3 p.m. And it is 2:42 p.m. and it's an hour drive, so I'm already very late. Burn melt? Oh, I think Burn Melt is another example of something that will only make sense assuming the Pyro Archon does off-field Pyro and attack buffs, right? Because, I don't know, what can we do? We can do... I already did Hyper Bloom earlier, Gerald. You can. I spent a decent amount of time on it. You can check. I did a very low investment version of Hyper Bloom team and then a much higher version. But yeah, we could do Ganyu Burst. We need off-field Pyro though. Yeah, right. So like we need off-field Pyro is the problem. So like in this case it would be either Dia or Xiangling for me. Yeah, since we need some amount of off-field Pyro, and I guess we may as well throw like or Emily into here, and then we can throw in Ganyu, and like it should function. I don't know what the builds are on, or Dia's on the wrong build, but Emily's fine. I don't know what Ganyu is like, so we're not looking at damage here. We're just looking at function.
Neutralize. A little ambiance.
That. Do this.
Target acquired.
Alright, we can still get like we can still get pretty decent damage, I'd say. I think it's a fun variation potential, but I think this is an example of, I think, like presuming the Pyro Archon does some off-field Pyro, and that they do some attack buffing, right? This becomes like substantially more compelling, right? To use an off-field cryo unit, in conjunction with doing some burning. And I think in my case, I would definitely prefer doing Rosaria. I did that wrong. It's whatever. Right, but we're keeping up burning, getting constant shots on him. Obviously, this dude has got a big shield, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Not saying it'll be dysfunctional to clear with like a team like that one. I might try Rosaria more in the future, actually, with that team once I get Rosaria leveled up a bit. And Rosaria will do some crit rate buffing, of course, and then she can melt every single hit of her burst, which is interesting. Ganyu on burst DPS is a little bit weird. So there's no way that team is viable. Ganyu burst would never be up. It's not that hard to build. You can build Ganyu on Emblem. But no, Rosaria would be better there. Ganyu was just the one I wanted to show as an illustration of you can have cryo application going and, you know, still have the burning going, right? But yeah, like Dia on tenacity there, with Emily, Kinich, and then a cryo unit could be compelling, but it's really missing that magic unit that would replace Dia, doing off-field Pyro and buffing, I feel like. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that could be interesting. But do all Natlan? I mean, there's zero synergy between doing Kinich Muulani and Kachina together, quite frankly. So, anyways, I don't know. He's an interesting unit for sure. I appreciate they're trying like weird new ideas, but as I said, he's kind of all gimmick, not much else with him. So like if you enjoy his spinning around enemies thing, and then maybe you can get additional value from his exploration utility. I am happier with him than I was at the start of this stream, where he felt quite like he had the worst first impression I've had in a while to a Genshin character. But he got better as I tested him a little bit more. But he's still in a place where I don't think I'm gonna care to play him that often. But I might invest in him a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see if I'll make a video, if I have any other ideas or teams I want to focus on with him for an edited video. But I might not even make an edited video about him. He's not... I don't have any like really good idea to format the video around right now. So we're spending wishes for C1. That's weird. The movement speed one is just an exploration thing, I think. Increasing a scale spiker damage cannon by 100% is a weirdly strong C1. Like that's all of his skill shots, right? Not the small multiplier shots, just the big multiplier. Decreased Dendro res. Additionally, for scale spiker cannon fires after. Apparently, this is their solution for the Deepwood annoyance. Is just slap Deepwood on C2 for every freaking Dendro DPS. That they intend to use a non-Deepwood artifact set. Cool, good design. Cannon fire after entering, they increase AoE damage increases by. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean his constellation seems strong. I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know. How much do you like the dude? You know, ultimately, ask what you're sacrificing versus what you gain. Go use websites like this one, right? And you can see, oh, you know, oops. If we go and activate C1, bam, you can see we increase his damage quite significantly, right? Is that worth it? You know, you tell me, how much do you think you're gonna like playing this character? I think realistically, if you're asking that question right now, is it worth it for you to go for C1? It's probably not worth it for you to go for right now, because what you should do is probably, you know, wait until his rerun. And like, yes, I don't know, he might be a Risley and he might not get a rerun for over a year. I am aware. But if you don't know if you want it right now versus like things you could use your wishes on in the future, like it feels to me like asking the question at all implies to me you should probably wait until like you play him enough that you were like very, very confident you'd get enough value out of C1 to know it would be worth it. Like you love this character enough, you think you're going to use him all the dang time. He's going to be one of the core you know, units you format a team around for a different Abyss cycle for a long time. Then yeah, maybe it is worth it, right? But like, otherwise, no. Is what I would probably say. So, yeah. And yeah, I mean, if you're free to play, you can get these. It's just how much Primo Gems have you saved up, right? But I don't think I recommend it. As always, you're probably you probably get with more value from getting other units. But maybe your account is in a state like again, like my account was in a state where I would have preferred. I think I would have gotten more fun personal value out of C2 Raiden versus getting Kinich, right? Because I've been playing the game long enough, and I know I like Raiden and the build that I have in Raiden enough, like playing her, that I know I would have gotten value out of it, more value than I would have by getting a new character, right? This specific new character, he's fun, but realistically, I don't think I'll play him as much as Raiden, right? It's kind of all it comes down to. So, you know. But is it worth it? Depends on you. Yep. Anyways, I think that's the end conclusion. That's the end conclusion. He's fun. The camera jankiness is. I've mostly gotten over the camera jankiness, I'd say, already, which is good. It's still a little bit, though. It's still a little bit disorienting. Hard to pay attention to things going on with him. Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a fairly balanced unit, but yeah, I don't know. If you really like him, maybe try to get him. That's kind of my vibe. Yeah, they might adjust the camera a little bit, but anyways, I gotta stop yapping. I gotta go. So, bye bye. If you love Raiden, you would see too. I love Raiden enough that I want to. I love hybrid Raiden enough that I want to continue being like, hey, FYI, what? Can alt tab work? What's happening? This weird build works. You can have 450 EM on Raiden with this weapon, and this enables her to play in a lot of different teams and get really good damage. And suddenly you can start playing Raiden all the time in 500 different team variations instead of like 3 with her carry playstyle. And you can also take advantage of the thing she's best at, which is her ability to trigger reactions from off-field. But you still get to DPS like burst on her, and it's super fun. Like it's the best of all worlds. But as soon as I get C2, you know that you got the likes of Zajef, right? If I go and show hybrid Raiden to Zajef, and I have C2 active, he'd be like, it only works with C2. It only is able to clear because you have C2. That's why I don't want Raiden C2, is because even though I would get more personal enjoyment out of it, I know that I want, as a content creator, I want to show my appreciation for the ability to use this character in this way, that having the constellation would make people view it as not functional. And I like her enough to want to continue, doing that. And anyways, I'll probably have another hybrid Raiden video soon. Bye. C0 as a carry is not fine. She's pretty dang good on a hybrid build. But it's just a different variation of high investment. Because you do really want Staff of Squad Sands for it, in my opinion. I still maintain that. Engulfing can be workable, but
Hal
awkward.
loves being antagonistic.